88.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time live from the Family Leisure Studios on a Wednesday. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you for the next 3 hours, and got to get to a lot of college football today. We're going to make some picks later. We're going to talk to some guests about college football. Brett, it's here. Tomorrow we get week one action, and we'll be rolling all the way through Monday.
We will, and then starting with September, the fastest time of the year that blows by, with 30 days of September, 31 October, 30 November, 31 in December, or as John Harden so eloquently has put it, the Burr months.
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful, and it comes and goes quick because it's so busy. I mean, you start with college football.
Blink of an eye.
NFL gets here. Then before you know it, basketball starts, and everything's really going.
It's almost the beauty of college football, and it's really going to change next year. It has changed even with 4 playoffs. This hadn't been much of a playoff system.
Right.
But I reject the invitational crowd out there, but that crowd will find anything wrong with college football. They'll find something wrong next year when we go to legitimate 12-team playoff with a legitimate bracket.
Right.
They'll find something wrong then. But college football always goes by in a hurry, and you've always known up until next year the danger of one loss.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think I know it's not Florida tomorrow night, but Utah is out of any national title mix or even playoff mix if they lose tomorrow night. Sunday night, FSU, LSU, I think LSU, because of the prestige and reputation of the SEC, they could recover. I don't know that it's recoverable for FSU.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, FSU does have Clemson on the road, which could help them a lot if they lose that first one, go and beat Clemson,
Might
and win
be
the
a
conference.
rematch.
Really could be. So there could be some saving grace there for them. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, when it comes down to 4 teams, when we were talking to Brent Beard yesterday, I mean, when y'all started talking about going from 4-team playoff this year to 12-team playoff, now first off, it's going to be a much harder question to ask all of our guests in preseason next
Give me your 12.
Give us your top 12 instead of give me your 4.
Clock's ticking too.
Yeah, it's going to be much harder of a question. But really, the way Brent put it is right now when you look around college football, I mean, maybe 10 teams that could make an argument going into the season that could really have a shot at going to the college football playoffs. Next year, when you get to 12, that entire top 25 is really in the mix.
Yeah, and it's going to be next summer's discussion, but I think it's going to change soon after all the realignment.
Sure.
I don't think they're sticking to the same invitational grid for the playoffs. I think
can't. I mean, one of those conferences won't exist.
I think we should go to the CFP committee.
Yeah.
And whatever the 12 teams are, that's the 12 bids. And for the little guy, and I want other conferences represented. And I think more times than not, that last 2 spots, 11 and 12, would be for those.
Yeah.
And then I think it should be like the other one was going to be until we had the dissolution of a whole conference.
Right.
If they're conference champions, I think their seed should be higher.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But, I mean, the 12 teams, I mean, like you just said.
Better.
Yes.
Seed should be better.
And I think this helps when you look kind of – I don't want to say necessarily the SEC because I know we talk so much about look at Georgia's schedule this year and kind of who they start the season out against: UT Martin, Ball State, UAB a little bit later. But, when you look at some of these conference that play a lot of FCS schools early in the season, some of these lower schools, when you can say, hey, you can still get into the college football playoffs with more than one loss on your schedule, that might give these programs more of an incentive to go out there and have a matchup like we've seen these past couple of seasons with Florida State and LSU, kind of a top 15 battle, and kind of put some of those tougher games on the schedule.
It was, you know how much fun I had at Michigan at Ohio State last year, and it was so illustrative when kind of pre-show about 10, 15 minutes till 8 Central Time. And they do it at every stop. And Reese Davis kind of went out there, ginning up the crowd, and great to be here. And he made the point. He goes, "This will be the last Michigan, maybe this year, next year, will be the last Michigan and Ohio State games as we've known them. Yeah. Because in a few years, and especially when they go divisionless, and all of college football kind of will have done that." He goes, the very real matchup 2 weeks, a week later, or 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, at some point in the playoffs, it's sure going to happen. And I have it this year, and I think I kind of want it more than I really believe it. But I do believe it. Yeah. But I sure want it for the last year of kind of this vintage of college football to end with those two teams in the granddaddy of them all, in Tennessee and Georgia down in the Sugar Bowl, kind of the SEC's granddaddy of them all, the Sugar Bowl. But he was right. It is really changing. But it has always been changing, whether it's been evolutionary in conference realignment, play, strategy, from wishbones to five wides. It always is changing.
Yeah. No, it really is. And so you're right. I mean, we're going to see a lot of changes. This is going to be the last year for so many things. I mean, when you look at conference realignment, when you look at the current structure
last year for the Civil War, Oregon and Oregon State.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
Bedlam.
For a lot of these rivalries, when you kind of start getting into it.
And you go to that continuously played list at Wikipedia, Egg Bowl's going to move up there and be up there about 6 most consecutively played.
Yeah. Heck, TCU and SMU have said they're stopping for at least a couple of seasons. So,
Into the skillet.
You're going to see a lot of rivalries stop.
On the other hand, though, we're getting the birth of new rivalries and great trophies like the $5 bits and broken chair trophy.
And the resumption of the bones.
Exactly. Battle of the Bones. That's a great point. So, I mean,
but we will get new stuff. I know for a lot of our listeners, they can't believe there was a time, not that it was passé. It was not. But there were a lot of years they didn't even play, so that's fairly passé. Tennessee and Florida wasn't anything like this. It wasn't approaching it in the 70s and 80s.
No, I mean, that's just kind of, I mean, we've seen conference movement and we've seen new rivalries and new matchups, and so we'll get those. It might take a handful of years to really get them going, but I'm excited about the future of college football. I know it's going to be weird. I know it's going to be different for sure, but it's going to be fun.
It's a lot healthier than a lot of the prophets of doom want to proclaim.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. So I'm excited for tomorrow. Like I said, we got a whole slate of games tomorrow night, with the big one being Utah and Florida, and that'll really take us into the weekend all the way until Monday. But for Utah, it's starting to look like Cam Rising is going to be doubtful. Pete Thamel with ESPN reported it earlier, and now it's kind of starting to circulate all over Twitter that it's unlikely Cam Rising will play. And so, I mean, what does that mean for this game when I've seen a lot of people, even though I don't think Florida's going to be a good team this year. I think they have a lot of holes, and I just don't think they're ready yet. I think maybe in a year or two they could be there, but not yet. What does Cam Rising out for Utah mean for this game for Florida?
I've had Florida with an L in this game all summer. First, lightly shaded pencil to we're letting it go. We're doing Florida today, aren't we?
No, it's
tomorrow. We're doing it tomorrow. We're doing it tomorrow, even with the Rising news, I'm still going to have it L.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm right there with you. But I've heard so many people say, well, I think Florida's going to win, but, let me find out who's the starting quarterback for Utah. And I just don't know if I'm completely there on that.
Well, if you're somebody that's scared of betting on Utah because it's week 1 and we don't know a ton about these programs, I feel like Cam Rising being hurt should make you feel better about it if you're scared of picking Utah because of how popular the Florida pick would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Florida pick, or I'm sorry, how popular the Utah pick would be. That Florida pick gets a lot more popular when Cam Rising goes down. As the spread is indicated, going down, it opened at 10, it's been at like 8 all summer. It's down to like 4.5 today.
Yeah, it's moving that direction. Somebody out there could middle that. And I'm sure Will and Av. But last year, I thought it was more presumptive a year ago right now for the Utah slaughter at Gainesville than it is for this year for maybe even, Florida pulling an upset. And I was adamant all last summer that Florida was going to win that game opening night in the Swamp, and they did. And probably the best, only good, great performance Anthony Richardson had.
And it was the first one. Put him on the map.
Do you think most college football fans would agree with us? I'm kind of surprised that we all three agree Utah. We would pick Utah to win this game. Do you think most college football fans would agree with us, or do you think a lot of people, especially in this part of the country, would just kind of their baseline is, well, I don't really know much about Utah here. They lost their quarterback. I'm picking Florida.
Kind of the SEC privilege.
Yeah, that's what I think. And so I'm kind of surprised the three of us are picking Utah. I think the SEC privilege really would exist in picking this game.
And they say I'm an SEC bootlicker.
but you're too informed to be a bootlicker, Brett.
I've had it as L all summer.
Yeah, I have it as an L.
I'm going to have it as an L tomorrow.
Yeah, I probably will bet on the game.
And on Friday, I'll probably regret it.
Well, I don't know. I think we might be on the right side here. But I don't know how many times I've been actually successful after saying I'm on the right side of this one with the bet coming up. Usually those are the bets I lose. But no, that should be a fun game tomorrow night. I know a lot of people are really excited about it. I just checked again. Line hasn't moved any yet since the announcement of Cam Rising. Still at 4.5 for Utah, but I wouldn't be surprised if that moves a little bit.
Moving down from 8 was Cam Rising, because this has been leaked for a while now, right?
But,
that it was rumored that he wasn't going to play.
It's been rumored, but this is really the first day like a reporter has gone out and said he's doubtful. I would bet against him playing. So I think we could still see some more movement.
So tonight will be our last night of just baseball alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are we watching?
Not much to watch. Of course.
Did you jump in the ring Monday night?
No,
I did.
Hey, if it would have been the other promotion, that AEW promotion, I would have, Brett. I would have gone in. No, but I think it's almost does the baseball a little bit of a – well, I say that. I was about to say it does baseball a little bit of a disservice. However, they have been trying to push for a while now on MLB Network. I've noticed they're struggling to find things to talk about. I don't think football could get here fast enough for them, because this is a portion of the season where so much has already been decided for so many teams. Now, there are the group of both leagues that are fighting for that wild card spot.
And the seeds.
But I know sports TV, specifically MLB Network, that's just dealing with baseball, that I see them struggling to come up with the burden of content to put together a whole day. They're now talking about they're trying to sell to the viewer NL MVP voting, like, oh, trust me, Acuna doesn't have this one sold up. I'm like, I think he's had it sold up since June. But nonetheless, I think sports media is very happy for football to be here.
I know I am, so I'm right there with them. But no, you're absolutely right, because for a lot of these teams, it's either we're cruising to the playoffs and we're already locking there, or we're playing AAA guys to just give them some reps.
And the wild card is compelling, and we're Cardinals fans that enjoy watching baseball. But I'm sure there's a lot of regional baseball fans that might have sold on the season or cheer for a good team and are like, I'm waiting for the playoffs to get here now.
I swear I'm a baseball fan first, and then 1A's. I love the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I'm going to enjoy the races we have out there, and then when they hang the ceremonial bunting come October, I can't. One of my favorite days of the year is when we have that 4 games in one day. Oh, man. Kind of noon, 3, 7, 9:30.
Beautiful. And they all bleed over into each other. It's great.
And 1 year, it might have been 2001 when the Diamondbacks won it. The Cardinals played the Diamondbacks, and it was like on ABC Family. I'm going, I can
great.
barely find ABC 24, much less ABC Family first pitch 10:20 Central. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. No. Well, I mean, I love baseball, and I feel like I watch a lot of baseball throughout the week. But Saturday during week 0, I don't think I watched a single baseball game. I was just so entranced with the college football. Even week 0, I mean, a lot of bad teams playing.
Up on your phone.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, I think that just kind of shows
you didn't go Siberia.
On the Cardinals, I might have.
Oh my gosh,
I don't know if I had a
Brett.
score on the Cardinals game.
Games 1 through 4 were on Fox Family.
I'm sorry. ABC, Fox Family.
A station so obscure it doesn't even exist anymore.
That's great.
Give me first pitch times. Do you have them?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's the length of the game. Give me 1 second.
That's okay, but yeah. I mean,
Oh, here we go.
Fox Family. Wow.
This one's game 1's at noon. Game 2 is at noon. Game 3 is at 4:20 Eastern time. I'm sorry. That's against Atlanta. That's a wrong series. I'm so sorry. 5:15, 1:20, 7:15, 3:48. That's 7:15 Mountain Time though, so that could be
9:15 here.
Yeah.
Or
I'm not sure I got one that late.
It might have been 0-3 against, but it was one year. Steve Klein pitched late in it, and when I say late, he came in. It was like 1:15.
No, thank you. I'd say I haven't watched it though. I mean, that sounds extremely exciting to me.
Fox Family.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What a year.
Really. No, hopefully we don't get to that
And that
point
series
anymore.
against the Diamondbacks still aggravates me.
Yeah.
Cardinals were really good that year.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was going to be a Cardinal-Yankee World Series that year.
Opposite of this year.
That's when I started with my every year picking that as the World Series because it was really close.
And even though we've seen how bad they are this year, we're still going to do it again next year.
Next year on opening day, I will.
All right. On that note, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. Brett, you said it earlier. We got to do a ton of wins and losses today, so we'll kick it off at 3:30 with Navy, Texas A&M, SMU, and Auburn. A ton to get to in the next segment for W's and L's. 3:45, we'll talk a little baseball. 4 o'clock, David Cohn, the co-host of Crane and Company, will join us. He'll be a weekly guest starting this week throughout the football season. We'll talk some college football with him as we get ready for week 1. 4:30, our final visit with John Goen from Timber Trust. We'll talk some golf, talk a lot about the Ryder Cup coming up.
Crown John.
And Crown John. We did a little bit last week. He was on vacation. I mean, what a better time
he
to
wants
crown
to be
the
crowned
champion.
more. He earned it.
He does earn it.
Can I interrupt our praising of John, for goodness
Please.
sakes?
Are you going to praise me for winning over the weekend?
I can't do that. Brett, you're absolutely right. In 2002, at Arizona, 11 o'clock Central Time start.
Wow.
Cardinals Diamondbacks.
Okay, I missed by a year, but even later, time-wise.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I remember how much I whined about it that day and the next day because I was old then. I'm really old now.
And now you're whining about it even more
Yeah.
now. I mean,
Still makes me tired.
Yeah. But we'll catch up with John for the last time this year at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, we'll get back to the W's and L's. This time, Tulane, Mississippi State, Rice, and Kentucky. So, Tulane's going to be a big one. I'm interested to see where y'all have Tulane, and I don't know how much I'm interested in what y'all have Rice.
I think Tulane and Mississippi State both are hard to pick.
Very hard to pick. That's a lot in the SEC.
When you start with those two quarterbacks, you can make a lot of people look really bad.
You really could.
I really like Rice in my burrito.
You do?
Oh, very much so.
But maybe not the football team.
Oh, the football team. I
Right.
misunderstood. I'm sorry.
I see. So we'll do that at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time, where you can go and get some rice in your burrito from Taco Bell. But let me tell you about...
Still talking about the Rice Owls.
How about that?
After Arkansas left the
Welcome to
Southwest
2023.
Conference, that would be the end of it. And then the Tigers have hooked up with them way too many times. I can't get rid of Rice.
We'll throw a party the first time Memphis and Rice square off and welcome back Rice. How about that?
Maybe.
You are who you are, Brett. You
can't get away
you
from
can't get away from
Can't get away
them.
from
The teams that you're around, they're with Rice.
That's funny you say that because last year, Texas Tech for the Ole Miss bowl game, year before.
Oh,
Baylor.
man. Ole Miss and Texas Tech.
And a friend of mine told me, said, you just can't get rid of those Southwest Conference roots, can
Can't
you?
shake them.
Every corner you turn, there they are.
Who you are.
They stick with you. But let me tell you about Family Leisure, because we're sitting in the Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. The summer clearance sale going on right now, and Family Leisure needs your help to clear out inventory. inventory. All DIY pools, $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pool, less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Patio furniture, up to 30% off. And spas, they're in stock and up to $1,200 off. And don't forget about the 24-month same as cash financing, now available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Brett, Jay Morgan with you until 6 o'clock, and you can be a part of our show every day by texting or calling 901-360-8255. We are in our Family Leisure studios, where our title sponsor for this hour every day, it's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673, the one and only Lexus dealership in town, with great offers on all 2023 models and special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. 2024 is on the way soon. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, I mentioned it earlier, but Cam Rising is now doubtful, according to Pete Thamel, for tomorrow night's game at home against Florida. This is a guy, when you really talk about the Pac-12 as a conference, could really be a strong season for quarterback play when you look at all of these teams, the kind of final hurrah for the Pac-12. Looks like maybe the strongest year for them.
Bo Nix out there.
Bodacious Bo Nix in his Heisman campaign. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders, you absolutely. I mean, you could go team by team. Michael Penix at Washington.
The freshman at Arizona State.
Absolutely. So, I mean, everywhere you look in the Pac-12, there is good quarterback play. But Cam Rising.
And Cal and Stanford always seem to find somebody.
They find somebody. Absolutely. And so I think every team has a good quarterback in the Pac-12. But when you look at Cam Rising, I saw The Athletic has a guy who has found this model. He's been working on it for a couple of years. It's a analytic model where he ranks quarterbacks. And today he put out his quarterback ranking for this season. Caleb Williams, number 1. Cam Rising right there behind him at number 2. So this is a guy that might not be getting the love from Heisman votes when you look at kind of who could be a Heisman winner this year. Cam Rising is not going to be the guy that gets that love, that probably even gets an invitation to the Heisman ceremony, even if Utah's successful this season.
Who's our guy back at Arizona for Jed Fish? We liked last year's.
He is back, and I can't remember his name. Jay Morgan, can you look that up, the quarterback? He was good.
We liked him late last year.
I really liked him a lot last year. But Cam Rising, when you look at what he brings to this team, his durability, his toughness, he's a great quarterback. And losing him, hopefully, if this is the only game you miss, that'd be great for Utah. I don't know how much it changes tomorrow night, but it is going to be something to be missed.
Jaden DeLaura?
That is DeLaura.
It is.
Absolutely. A good player. Underrated.
He is my top story. All the drama with the Cowboys. Morning Hot Take TV. They have about 3 stories when it comes to the NFL. The Cowboys, Aaron Rodgers, and some player being mistreated by mean old owners that are paying him $10 million, and the player wants $15 million. And the owner is just public enemy number 1. Look, I want the players to get all they can, but they signed the contracts.
Yeah.
And it does look like, a few are going to hold out at least some of the year. But morning TV, led by Marcus Spears, just hates the owner. Marcus Spears, when he played for the Cowboys, he used to never have anything but great things to say about Jerry Jones and Jerry Jones and his life. And now it's just any mention of the owner, of the establishmentarian, he feels like he's got to dislike him. And then this with Mike Greenberg on morning TV, wearing jerseys, chanting JTS. Okay, can you imagine any other person in a TV role being that fandom about their team?
Yeah.
What if
Not
Reese
really.
Davis showed up at game day that big for Bama?
Nope. Not happening.
That's one team, too, that's very unique in that way. Rich Eisen is the same thing. You can't trust anything anybody says about the Jets. Anybody. You know, I mean, not us. I mean, like,
Right.
but like
Yeah,
those
yeah.
people,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all Jets fans.
Sure.
You can't trust anything they say about the Jets.
What if and he wouldn't, but what if on Monday Night Football, Joe Buck, showed up talking about IU and the Hoosiers? or Troy Aikman about UCLA?
Yeah, where's his UCLA jersey?
Or Troy Aikman about the Cowboys?
Oh, I'd love that.
Now, I know the roles are a lot different. The roles are a lot different because that's play-by-play versus kind of a host, talk radio, talk TV, hot take TV role. But this is past the point of funny.
Yes, absolutely.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day. I just saw this on Twitter, so I had to make it my not top story of the day. Is tweet by Jeff Jones, who covers the Cardinals up in St. Louis. Cardinals say 32,583 is today's paid attendance. That's their second smallest announced crowd at Busch this season. 55 more people saw them beat Oakland on August 15th. So, Brett, doesn't seem like you're the only one who's given up on this team and refused to watch them.
Yeah, and they've got the whole month of September to sell tickets for. And I told you before we started today, the last time the Cardinals finished last in any division or in the National League before divisions, 1918.
Wow.
1918. My not top story. It's always tough on the U.S. at the Ryder Cup, especially over there. Hadn't won over there since 1993. But this team, I think, is loaded. 7 of the 12 players have won a major. I know some are really scared there's not except for Jordan Spieth, there's not a really lights-out putter on this team. We'll talk with John Goen about this, too, in about an hour about the Ryder Cup. But the real exposure for Captain Zach Johnson is going to be the Justin Thomas pick. If he goes over there and falls on his face and the United States narrowly loses, that's going to be the source of criticism.
Yeah, it will be. And there's going to be a lot of eyes on it because it was the most controversial pick that people have been talking about, not just since it's been released, but for weeks up into it, is should he be on the team?
And I will ask John, okay, it's like NBA All-Star Game snubs. You can't have a team of 40 players.
Right.
If you take him out, who do you put in there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there were some names thrown out there, but hard to kind of go with some of these names I've heard out there. So, yeah, we'll definitely talk to John about that in about an hour. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we got to get to some W's and L's, Navy, Texas A&M, SMU, and Auburn. That's next on Sportstime.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5 Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Nothing says summer like an ice-cold Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, refreshing, real brewed tea with 5% alcohol. Look for Twisted Tea in the bright yellow cans. Keep it twisted!
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. We're all sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and we're only a day away from Week 1 kicking off, so we got to get back into some W's and L's. Navy, Texas A&M, SMU, and Auburn. So do we want to start in the American or do we want to start in the SEC?
I'm easy. Navy's fine with me. We know one game already for Navy. We all did have Notre Dame winning.
Right.
Most did.
Yes, no, that was easy. I'll go first for Navy.
Tough year.
It's gonna be a rough year. 4-8 is what I have them. Already one loss.
I have even tougher
behind
than
them.
that.
Ooh, yikes! I have them beating Wagner, and then USF. I have them beating Air Force, and I have them beating East Carolina in some sort of upset. But other than that, I mean, at Memphis, USF, North Texas, at Charlotte, at Temple, UAB, and at SMU. I mean, that is honestly a difficult American Athletic Conference schedule, especially how some of these games are set up. But I just don't think it's going to be a very good year for them. I have them 4-8.
A lot of change for Navy, and now with the portal, you're seeing, go pluck a player from there. Yeah. That guard, that safety,
Sure.
that whatever you need, and people are doing, and it's usually defense. It's not sometimes offensive lineman, but usually defense.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Navy 2-10 with only 2 wins, Wagner and Temple, and not so sure about it, Temple.
Yeah. Jay Moore?
I have 4-8 as well, although I want to do one less now that I heard Brian, but I won't. I'll keep it at 4-8. I also I have them beating USF. I have them beating Air Force, but man, I went back and forth on that game so many times. But I end up 4-8. Losses to Notre Dame, Memphis, North Texas, Temple, UAB, ECU, and SMU.
Air Force is always that sneaky national over-under win total team.
They are. And they could be again this year.
And they usually get to the over, whatever it's established at.
Yeah. So SMU, complete opposite of Navy. I don't have it being a very good season for Navy. I have it being an extremely positive season for SMU. I have them 11-1 running the American. I have wins against La Tech, and the only loss coming in that Week 2 game at Oklahoma. Outside of that, they went out and play in the American Athletic Conference Championship game.
Look at you. I'm 8-4. The wild one I went with yesterday with East Carolina, and so we're going to have some blood on those two. We're going to have some blood on AAC. I've got SMU 8-4, win over Louisiana Tech, and that won't be easy. Loss at OU, win over Prairie View, and loss at TCU, win against Charlotte, loss at ECU, win at Temple, win at Tulsa, win at Rice, a win over North Texas, a loss here in Memphis to the Tigers.
I love that.
And a win in the last game of the year against Navy, 8-4, 6-2 in the league.
Pretty close to you on that one, Brett. I also have SMU 8-4, losses at Oklahoma and TCU in non-conference. And the 2 conference losses I have for them is at ECU and at Memphis. I also went back and forth and thought about having them lose at Temple, but I don't think that's feasible enough. They probably aren't going to lose too many of those on the road. So 8-4 is what I've got for SMU. They've got a tough schedule this year with some road games, though.
I heard Greg and Eli both go 9-3 this morning for the Tigers.
I like that. Should I split my diploma for y'all and give half to each since I had SMU losing to Memphis and y'all both have Memphis beating SMU?
I'd give it to Brett.
Okay.
No, you're already in trouble with
I'm just digging a deeper hole.
Association.
Yeah, I mean it's getting rough out there, but I hope Memphis beats them. That's where I'm at. I reverse psychology. I have these games down as a loss for the Tigers because they're gonna show me. I bet on them. They go out there and win.
Playing the reverse psychology card already.
Easy reverse psychology. All right, let's go over to the SEC. Let's start with Auburn. New coach in there, and I think it's a good season for them. I have them going 7-5 this year. I've got 3 straight wins. UMass, Cal, and Samford. I mean, that's pretty easy. I know UMass looked improved in their last game, but I don't think you're going to look as good at Auburn against an SEC team. Cal has just been really pathetic in football for the last couple of seasons, and then Samford, just an FCS school. I think you get 3 straight wins, but then you lose 3 in a row to start conference play. Texas A&M on the road in College Station will be a tough one. Georgia's a tough one for everybody, and then LSU in Baton Rouge I think will be very difficult. But after that, I have them winning 3 of their next 4 games. Win against Ole Miss, win against Mississippi State, win against Vanderbilt, a loss in Fayetteville against Arkansas, then a win against New Mexico State, and then ending the season with a loss against Alabama.
I mean, identical.
Wow, really?
Everything wow. You just said, copy, paste, identical, ditto. Same thing, the 5 losses at College Station, at home against Georgia, at Baton Rouge, at Fayetteville, and against Alabama in the Iron Bowl. And Hugh Freeze, he won last year at Fayetteville with Liberty, never won at Fayetteville with Ole Miss.
Wow. Jay Moore?
I got to stand up to do Auburn.
Wow,
because I found myself last season, I'm an Auburn fan. I'll tell you what, I watched every Auburn game last year.
They don't got your quarterback in there.
They don't. I was about to say that, too, is they hurt me a little bit. I grew to love Robbie Ashford. I loved Cadillac. I loved the way he played under Cadillac.
Love the way Cadillac ran that team.
And so I had to stand up for Auburn here because I'm excited about this season. Now, I picked them to go 7-5, but that being said, I'm going to bet on them against the spread every week. Don't you worry about that. We're going 12-0 against the spread this year, Auburn is.
You're saying Brother Freeze knows the
See, I don't think Brother Freeze knows much about spreads and gambling. I don't want him to because that would affect the game. I want him to be noble and good. Auburn, I got 7-5, though. Win at win at home against UMass, a win at Berkeley, a win against Samford. Samford's a good team. Don't you worry about that. A&M, I have them losing in College Station. They lose to Georgia at home, losing in Baton Rouge. Too tough. Brett, I'm sorry. I've got them beating Ole Miss in Auburn.
I did as well.
I've got them losing to State at home, though. It's just 3-week stretch. LSU on the road. You got to beat Ole Miss.
State-Arkansas switcheroo for you.
I got Vanderbilt winning. I've got Arkansas winning in Fayetteville. I've got winning against New Mexico State and winning against Alabama.
7-5 first year for Hugh Freeze. I say good year.
Absolutely,
that could potentially be a Liberty Bowl team.
Yeah,
Auburn had played in the Liberty Bowl since '84 and played in the first Memphis Liberty Bowl against Ole Miss in 1965.
Yeah. I say really good year considering the way the schedule plays out, and if what I said comes true and they beat Bama at home. That fixes a lot of things with just 7 wins.
This is the last 7-5 for Hugh Freeze at Auburn.
Yeah.
He will get good.
Oh, yeah. And I think you look back at kind of what this program was last year before firing Brian Harsin. I think a 7-win season after that is huge. I mean, Cadillac did a great job when he was interim, but I think you come in with the schedule, like Jay Morgan said, you win 7 games. I think
and he kept Cadillac on the staff, which
is huge. I love that.
I mean, having to go to
and earned on a lot of levels.
Absolutely.
Having to go to LSU and to College Station in the same year, that's And to go in Fayetteville, too, for that matter.
Yeah. And you play Georgia and Bama.
That's right. And you play Georgia and Bama. No one got a tougher draw.
And the emotion of the day that Ole Miss goes to town when Lane Kiffin plays Hugh Freeze.
So that's a great point that you bring up there, Brett. The one solace you get is those 2 home games against the Mississippi schools. Well, they're back-to-back, and then right after you just went to Baton Rouge. So no rest for the weary.
Shouldn't that day at Jordan-Hare, one of the great places to go. It truly is the loveliest village on the plains. Love going there. Everything about it. People are great. It's very friendly. Stadium's great. I don't like the view from the press box that much, but I don't have to call the game.
Right.
So it doesn't matter where I do pregame from. I can do pregame from, well, I do it from the parking lot a lot of times. That day, shouldn't, with Hugh Freeze facing his old school and Lane Kiffin, it was widely rumored to go there, ceremonial coin toss.
Oh, man.
Senator Tuberville. Shouldn't he do it?
Sure.
Coach.
He kind of can hear the reverb from the PA.
Oh, yeah.
Now, walking to midfield for the ceremonial coin toss. Senator Tommy Tuberville.
That'd be great. I mean, who better?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Last team we're doing right now, Texas A&M. I had Auburn going 7-5. I also have Texas A&M going 7-5. But a very strong start to the season for the Aggies.
7-5. Does he survive that?
I don't know.
Jimbo back in 24 if he goes 7-5.
Have I told you, Brett, my ideal scenario for the season?
I don't think you have.
Oh, this
Please,
is great.
go
I want
ahead.
this to happen so
Is
bad.
this a geometry beautiful mind question?
No,
yours,
almost. So I want A&M to really struggle early in the season. I'm talking losing at Miami, losing to Auburn, losing to all these teams.
You want the dogfight.
If Jimbo gets fired and they end up promoting, if they promote Bobby Petrino to be the interim head coach, oh, man, it doesn't get any better than that for me for the season. That is what I'm cheering for. That's the pinnacle of college football.
Arkansas game.
Oh, man, Brett, now you're talking. If we get Bobby Pat coaching against Arkansas, that's what we're asking for.
So for that to happen, lose at the U.
I don't think it can happen that early.
You'd have to lose to UL Monroe. I mean,
that's a lose to New Mexico.
We're in New Mexico. You have to lose one of those schools.
Lose to Monroe and annihilated at home by Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going by the time Arkansas.
And
But
you'd probably even then need him to say something stupid at a press conference.
If we're going to go full WWE and have Senator Tuberville at the coin toss at the Ole Miss Auburn game, if Petrino's the interim, he rides on the field on a motorcycle, doesn't he?
Certainly, waving to the crowd, like the pageant wave,
with a hot blonde riding with him.
That's right, volleyball coach.
Yeah. So I've got Texas A&M 7-5. He might survive 7-5. I've got a very strong.
Okay, maybe college football has changed.
Maybe a little bit.
I'm telling you, this is a dream scenario, once in a lifetime opportunity.
It really is. It really is. I'm 7-5. I have them winning their first 5 games. New Mexico at Miami, which could be a tough one. UL Monroe, Auburn, and then Arkansas. But it gets real tough after that. You lose to Alabama at home. You lose to Tennessee in Knoxville. You lose to South Carolina at home, and then you go to Oxford and you lose to Ole Miss. That, depending on how those games go, that could get Jimbo right there if you lose to South Carolina.
Jay Morgan got him early. You got him late.
Wait till I go here. It could be like, now he's still at this school, but it could be like Lane late in the year last year where fans are booing and like message boards.
The checkout factor is big.
Especially because of how hot expectations are going to go through the roof if they start 5-0 this year. A&M does.
Absolutely. And then if you lose to South Carolina, depending what the final score of that game is, and then follow that up with a loss in Oxford to Ole Miss, and that's 4 losses in a row, coming back home against Mississippi State, it could get ugly. I have them beating Mississippi State. I have them beating Abilene Christian. And then I have a loss in Baton Rouge. I'm extremely high on LSU this year, so I have them losing that final week of the season.
7-5 for the Aggies. I'm biting again. I've kind of called my shot all summer. I have 10-2, the 2 losses to Tennessee and Knoxville and to Ole Miss and Oxford. Lane Kiffin will outcoach him every single time they play against each other. But in that 10-2, second straight in College Station for Jimbo to beat the mentor, to beat Nick Saban. Wow. 10-2, 6-2 in the league, and everything's fine.
I was about to say, everything's all right if he goes 10-2. I mean, everything has worked out from top to bottom then. All right, Jay Morgan.
I have to turn my microphone on to talk. I do like what you're saying, Brett. That Alabama game in College Station, I do like. It's It's in a string of games, though, after Auburn and Arkansas.
Petrino always had good plans at Arkansas for Bama.
That's true.
That could prove tough, but I do like what you're saying there with these home games. They have a chance to win some games. I'm with Bryant, though, 7-5.
Whoa.
I've got them starting 5-0. They drop to Alabama and Tennessee. They go into that bye week and come back and beat South Carolina, but that's their last league game win of the year. They lose to Ole Miss in Oxford. They come back home and lose to State. They beat Abilene Christian because they have to, and then they lose to LSU in Baton Rouge. Wow.
He's out at 7-5.
I agree.
Who's in?
I tell you what, though. They loved that recruiting class last year.
They love the last
you can
one,
always
too,
sell the recruiting class. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. The last one, but that's what he sold last year is that let these guys develop. And so I think he still has that in his back pocket if he goes 7-5 this year, but less so.
Well,
certainly.
I don't know because a lot of those guys he was selling they're just freshmen right now. They went out and transferred out of the program. So I mean, that could get them.
You're right though. He gets fired if they go 7-5, which makes me now think they ain't going 7-5. They're going to be better.
Every coach they've ever hired has been Mr. Perfect. This is going to be the one. Truly, from when Coach Bryant got mad and left Kentucky, that was going to be the revolutionary hire.
Speaking of Mr. Perfect, look who's on NFL Live.
He's done the full card.
What is he on NFL Live for?
He's been on everything. Why?
John Calipari for Jay Morgan, who's trying to peek and look
Such
who
a
it is.
con. Why is he?
I don't know.
He was on something yesterday.
Sports Center, and he was telling him how to fix the transfer portal.
I'll tell you what, if you thought that was good, I've got something in store for you guys for our next picks.
Well,
my favorite team to pick coming up, Brett,
Tulane,
all day. My favorite.
Mississippi State, Rice. It's got to be Rice.
One of the teams that we picked today is my favorite one we're going to pick all week.
The last human on earth to fix college sports, I would pick John Calipari.
Well, I might agree with you on that, but you're right. He's doing the rounds, but I'm excited to see what Jay Morgan has in store.
Oh, he's talking Steelers because he did grow up right there.
That's true.
At the airport.
He's
at Moon
talking
Township.
Great Steeler teams.
Okay.
Whatever. Okay. Well, I guess if you want to see John Calipari, ESPN 2 right now. But let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some baseball.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 MPG Highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility, $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun to drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 PH 006839, MSRP 17895, Cross RZ 00688, MSRP 29850, Outlander PZO 59809, MSRP 30080, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It didn't take them long. Genesis Diamonds is now the undisputed value leader here in Memphis. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and people who have gone into Genesis Diamonds with a budget have often left spending less than they thought they would, and they end up with a better diamond, a bigger diamond, and a nicer ring. I'm telling you, Genesis has disrupted the old school jewelry store scene right here in Memphis. It starts with value. Genesis is a direct diamond importer where they get their diamonds from the world's best diamond cutters with no middleman. I call it extreme value. Genesis is also the authorized retailer for all the top bridal designers, so they have the rings on every woman's wish list. They back up every purchase with a 100% free lifetime warranty. That means no charge ever for things like sizing or cleaning. All this in a fun, relaxed environment with no commission salespeople, no pressure of any kind, and no retail pricing games. We've needed a place like this for years here in Memphis, and now Genesis is here. It's quite a change from other jewelry stores with traditional prices, limited selection, and insane markups. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended in Poplar Commons.
Nothing says summer like an ice-cold Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, refreshing, real brewed tea with 5% alcohol. Look for Twisted Tea in the bright yellow cans. Keep it twisted!
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we wrap up our first hour. It's going to be a lot of football today and moving forward, really, as we get both college football and the NFL rolling along. But baseball still going, and because it's a Wednesday, we've got a lot of day baseball today, some finals already. The White Sox.
I bet some other lean crowds, too, with school back.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of factors that the Cardinals drew. It's just big.
I bet they have similar win totals as the Cardinals, so these other teams in question. That's right.
Probably true.
1918.
That's rough. That's rough.
That's World War I stuff, isn't it?
Sure is. But it looks like only one final so far. Couple finals. Angels, a 10-8 win over the Phillies, and
they've quit.
And Bryce Harper hit his 300 home run in that game.
Also, Hunter Renfroe hit a 2-run home run after being.
Too much. They won 10-8.
That's true. But Hunter Renfroe, after being placed on waivers yesterday, hit a 2-run homer today.
I thought there for a second some of those Angels players today would sign with the Patriots as backup quarterbacks. There was a point today the Patriots had one quarterback on the roster.
I mean, how
Bailey
crazy is that?
Zappi cleared waivers, though. God bless him.
I mean, crazy that they waived him in the first place. I mean,
they must have known. They had to have known.
It is such a wink and nod. It's so bogus.
It is. But there's no way Bailey Zappi, who started games last year for the Patriots and was decent.
He couldn't help Arizona.
No, I mean, come on. Yeah. You're telling me he couldn't go somewhere, maybe not Arizona, but somewhere, and help out? Guardians 5-2 win over the Twins, but the Cardinals still losing in the bottom of the ninth. We got 2 outs to play with. Jordan Walker, a 4-hit afternoon for the rookie. Good year. I mean, when you look around, I think it's been, all in all, with everything that's kind of happened this rookie year for Jordan Walker, I think it's been a good year for him.
Pop up his stat line. It does not look too different than I thought it would be. Maybe a little more here and something else there. But
so 267 average.
I think I would have signed up for that opening day, wouldn't y'all?
Yeah. 335 on base percentage. 12 home runs, 39 RBIs.
I thought by the end of the year around 19 or 20 home runs.
Sure, but I mean,
he's not going to get there. But
at the beginning of the season, we thought he'd be in St. Louis the entire year. 39.
Okay, so I was thinking around 75. I thought around 18, 19 home runs.
But Brett,
70, 75.
Still got a month left of the season, so I mean,
he's not doing all that. I don't think.
Doing all that. But
if it does, it is stat filling of all time.
But he could get to maybe 15 home runs.
Now,
and
I didn't
42 RBIs.
I didn't know he was this inadequate defensively.
Well,
yeah, he's not an outfielder.
He's not.
I don't think he's anything though. What are you going to put him at first? You got an MVP there. The other position would be third. You got an MVP there.
But, I mean, he just got moved to the outfield.
MVP, but he's an MVP caliber player.
Golden Glove every year.
And the Cardinal outfield just...
Oh, it's so bad. But we got to keep everybody. Everyone there is a lifelong Cardinal.
Speaking of production, and before you guys started talking about Jordan Walker, the first game you mentioned was the Phillies game.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper, 300th home run this month.
Wow.
300th home run in his career. In less than 1,500 games, too, which is incredible.
Wow.
Paul Hembo broke down his stats by month right as he hit the 300th home run. Yeah, Paul Hembo, love him.
And he's back on Hot Take TV.
Yeah, old Sneaky Hembo.
Sneaky Hembo.
Author
I
now.
love him.
An author now.
Really?
He's a great
Wrote a
stat.
book.
He wrote Greenberg's book, Greeny's biography. Hembo wrote it.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because anything Greeny does, Hembo produced it. Bryce Harper by month this season. In May, sub 500 slugging percentage, 3 home runs. Didn't hit a home run in June with a sub 300 slugging percentage.
Yeah, that was
Again,
a slow start.
July looked almost exactly like May, sub 500 slugging, 2 home runs. August, though, a slugging percentage almost at 810 bombs. Power is all the way back for Bryce Harper after that UCL tear early in the season.
After the Dodgers, Atlanta Dodgers, who can really win it from the National League?
It's a good question. I mean,
Dodgers don't have the arms. I'll say
you're probably right.
Can the Phillies?
Phillies don't have the arms. No, they might actually. The Phillies
So
not being.
This answer from Jay Morgan is it's just the Braves.
Truly, the Phillies not being.
That's probably
is.
Well, but I mean, that's what we see at the end of the regular season. But like we're seeing the Mariners get hot, and quite frankly, I almost think it's a good thing that the Phillies didn't use up all those arms. Like the Phillies still have name brand arms pitching for them.
Yeah.
They just haven't produced the way they did last year. But they're starting to get hot. The Phillies are down the stretch of this season, and that might be a good thing. They haven't produced at that level all year. Just like the Mariners getting hot at the right time and maybe can make a run. The Phillies' arms, if they get hot at the right time, you know what? They might be good enough to make
Did
it all the way
y'all
to the World
see and feel the magic at Wrigley last night? It was real.
I didn't see
It was pushing the
They're
Cubs.
winning
Justin
again right now.
Steele's 15th win of the year, isn't that right?
Incredible. He's had a heck of a year this year. I think they're winning by 1 run right now against the Brewers in afternoon. First pitch for them. But yeah, I mean they've been rolling right along, and I think Julio Rodriguez is some sort of like wizard or something.
Wow.
Like they can't win when he's not playing. This is the second day in a row he's been scratched from the lineup.
How serious is it?
I don't know. I need to either Jerry DiPoto or Scott Cervase was on one of the morning shows in Seattle this morning, and I need to go back and listen because they talked about Julio. So I don't know what they said about him. Hopefully it's not much. I mean, I don't think people thought he'd be scratched again today going into this morning, but the A's up 3-0 again. Won last night. They're up 3-0 in the top of the third right now. Julio's got to be in that lineup for them, I guess.
And remember when I thought the A's would challenge the 62 Mets? Today's going to be win 40. They're going to blow through the 62 Mets easily. Got a month to win.
But it was
two
so
more.
bad at the beginning of the year. I mean, it was just historically bad to start. So, I mean, I don't put it against you for trying to bet against them. And I'll tell you, somebody to bet on, a sneaky good team to bet on. I talked about it yesterday. The Nationals. I mean, you could get some good numbers on the Nationals in some of these games. They've been playing good ball.
Only 36.5 out.
Only. There's time.
No, really, no.
I love my favorite thing about the baseball season. Athletics happened a long time ago. Today, though, I'm on Twitter scrolling through, and like Fox Sports or something posts the Kansas City Royals are officially out of playoff contention. Thanks. I mean, I don't.
Cardinals have been out since April 25th.
Yeah. But I love getting the graphics for these awful
The
teams
X.
that are they're officially
Did
out.
you see where baseball fixed the app? They now have the right order.
Good.
When you go to wild card.
Because it was messed up there for probably like a month or so.
It was making me do long math on the fly, which is always dangerous.
Yeah, we don't like doing long math. Let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk some college football with David Cohn from Crane & Company.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte PE 659,993, MSRP 22,540, Nero P 501,5237, MSRP 41,390, EV6 P 560,3393, MSRP 50,200, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details, offer valid through 9/5/23. Dealer stock only, warranties are limited, powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
I got Jeff Allen on the line. Hey, what's the scoop over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Randy, we got deals everyone wants. How about 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, give me some EV scoop.
new 2023 Nero EV Wind, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $292 a month. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Wind with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGe. Only $425 a month, both $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty to boot.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety-toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
You want the hottest summer deals in the Mid-South? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it in 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing. Get SUV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind. 253 miles of EPA estimated range. $292 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia EV6 Wind with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGe. Only $425 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 659,993. MSRP 22,540. Nero P 501,5237. MSRP 41,390. EV6 P 560,3393. MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9523. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you from the Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk some college football. Really excited when I heard he'd be joining us again this year during the college football season. You can hear him every morning on Crane and Company. The co-host of Crane and Company, David Cohn, joins us now. David, thanks so much for joining us. I know you're just as excited as we are for the college football season to start, but when you look around the country this year, I mean, we're seeing the end for a lot of teams in their conferences. We're seeing the end of the Pac-12 as we know it. What is this season going to be like as we kind of wrap up a lot of rivalries and say goodbye to a lot of teams and conferences? It's going to be kind of different this year.
Fellas, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Second of all, let's just soak it in. It is here.
Yes.
It is time. It is upon us, and I know you're as thrilled as I am. And, yeah, I mean, part of the irony when you talk about the Pac-12 basically, disappearing after this year is I expect some of the best football to be played this country in the Pac-12. Mm-hmm. When I was making those predictions, I'm going through these games with Washington, Oregon, Utah, Southern Cal, and Oregon State especially. I think 5 teams out there could win the conference. You have some of the best quarterback play I think you're going to see. Obviously, USC has already proven that they didn't improve too much on defense in the offseason when they started off with San Jose State last weekend. But San Jose State's a good football team. Let's see what happens. But I'm especially looking at Washington to come out of that conference. Obviously, Utah's back-to-back champ. We'll see if Cam Rising plays tomorrow when they open against Florida. And then on the Big 12 side of things, you're talking about some rivalries going away. We had an Oklahoma fan call into our show, Crane and Company, today, and he was just saying he felt disrespected by our Oklahoma predictions, which I have them at least going 9-3. And after a losing season, that would certainly be an improvement in Brent Venable's year, too. But the biggest question I had for him was Bedlam this year, Oklahoma State, man, that's a rivalry that could be going away. You don't think the Cowboys want to win that one? Maybe the last time they're playing Oklahoma in a long time. And I think the same thing with a lot of these teams in Texas. When you look at the Longhorns are going to have to go on the road to Houston, TCU, think they go on the road to maybe even Texas Tech. Like, those are not going to be fun environments to play. And obviously you saw Steve Sarkisian with the embrace the hate that he's already getting from the Big 12 commissioner out there, Brett Yormark. So I can't wait, boys. This is going to be a fun football season.
David, that's a great point about Texas and everybody having it circled. And Dana Holgerson is talking some stuff at Houston, isn't he? And I've got Houston losing in their opening game to UTSA, to Texas San Antonio.
So I do as well, and we have a great episode coming out for you guys this Saturday morning before the game starts with our friend Mr. Jeff Foxworthy. He's so fantastic, and we were dissecting the UTSA and Houston game. And, I mean, think about it. While that may look like a Group of 5 versus a newly acquired Power 5 there in Houston, UTSA, I mean, they're back-to-back conference championships there, and Frank Harris, their quarterback, is one of 5 returning quarterbacks in college football this season who was top 10 in yardage a season ago and top 10 in quarterback rating. So UTSA, right now that's a pick 'em, I believe, but UTSA could certainly win that football game, and that's what I have right now too. But let's just say that Houston only wins 4 games this season or 5 games this season, being in that new tough slate there in the Big 12. Obviously, that's not good enough there for Dana Holgerson, and he knows that. And I think he's going to be on the hot seat a little bit. But just imagine if one of those 4 or 5 wins was against Texas, and that's what you're going to see. I think Texas also on the road at Baylor, another Texas team they're going to have to play on the road. So Houston has had that one circled for a long time whenever they play the Longhorns, and Texas is certainly going to get everyone's best shot.
It will be a lot of circle Super Bowl games. This is a Super Bowl for them, and usually the team kind of punching up in weight class takes that they're very offended by it, but it's often it hits the middle of the bullseye. It is their Super Bowl when they play the bigger team, perceived bigger team.
No doubt, and how else would you want it? I mean, look, there's a reason Steve Sarkisian had shirts printed in the springtime that said "Embrace the hate." You knew what was going to happen. You're the guy. You're the one who's leaving the conference. Oklahoma as well. Of course, the Big 12 commissioner is not going to want you to win any football games. Of course, he's going to pull for the teams who are still going to be there next year. And kudos to the Big 12 for surviving. Remember, I was with you boys 2 years ago at SEC Media Days when the news broke that Texas and Oklahoma would be leaving the Big 12 and joining the SEC. Mm-hmm. And we thought, well, that conference is going to collapse. How could you possibly survive two blue bloods like that? And now look what's happening. We're talking about the Pac-12 is the one that's collapsing because the Big 12 did their due diligence. They went and got some good football teams in really great markets. When you look at Houston, which is also in Texas, a great recruiting state in high school football. They get Cincinnati in Ohio, an awesome recruiting state for high school football. They get UCF in Orlando, Florida, a top-notch school for high school recruiting. And then, of course, they add BYU, and now recently you're talking about Arizona State, and Utah. All that's going to have impact beyond just football when you think about adding Arizona for a conference that's already really great at basketball. Mm-hmm. But, we'll get to that soon enough. I'm just pumped about football here.
Arizona at KU at Fog Allen will be fun.
Whew.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Talking to David Cohn from Crane and Company. David, I know this is week 1 of the college football season, but we've already seen a couple of teams play in week 0. And for Notre Dame, I've heard a lot of people say, well, it was only against Navy. It was a weird game in Ireland, all of that. But when you look at Sam Hartman and kind of the reasons he said he went to Notre Dame, being that he wanted to be in a pro-style offense. He had heard people say that was one question mark from NFL teams is how does he look in a pro offense? I think he checked a lot of boxes in that week 0 game against Navy. What did you think about his performance and that Notre Dame team in week 0?
I thought that he was fantastic, and I can't stand this narrative of, well, I wasn't impressed. Notre Dame was only playing Navy. No, right. Forget that. Look, yeah, they won 42-3. They're supposed to beat Navy. They're supposed to win big. USC won big too, and that game looked a whole lot different.
Sure did.
So to me, forget about the score. Yeah, they're supposed to beat a team like Navy. It's not about the score. I'm dissecting every single play here from a schematic standpoint. How did they look? Were they efficient with the possessions that they got, and they knew they were going to get fewer possessions because, 1, the rule changes with the clock in college football this season, and 2, you're playing a triple option team. Well, I would say, boys, that scoring a touchdown for the starters on every possession they were in a game, that's pretty efficient.
Yeah.
Now, Sam Hartman did underthrow one of the balls in the end zone. I believe it was in the first quarter, and you had Audric Estime fumble the ball on the turf that they got away with there on another possession. Those are things you can't get away with those when the Buckeyes come to town and when you go on the road at Clemson, obviously. But, yes, Notre Dame looked very, very good, efficient on third down. They were committed to the run game, and how could you not be when you have a running back as good as Audric Estime? And if you guys really want to see how we dissected, I have a segment called Huddle Up that I'm going to do every single week where I break down a play from the weekend before. And this week I broke down Sam Hartman's first touchdown at Notre Dame. It was 11 personnel, left up bunch, yellow 5, Python X Kitty. And so we broke that down on today's show. And just seeing how, like you said there, coming into Notre Dame to run a pro-style offense, there were a lot of questions about Sam Hartman. Oh, he runs this RPO, this slow mesh RPO at Wake Forest. Is he really going to translate to a pro-style offense at Notre Dame? Well, when you see him, he got under center. He was under center a lot this game, had that play fake against 11 up dog, full pressure coming at him, and he throws a beautiful strike there for a touchdown on this short double post concept. I thought he looked great. The question is, when you're playing a very, very balanced team, like the Buckeyes who are going to come to town, or you go on the road at Clemson, or even USC, who you know is going to put up a lot of points, and Sam Hartman gets into a battle with another quarterback that's on the same level as him, like a Caleb Williams or something, how will Notre Dame respond then? I'm anxious to see. I do have them going 10-2 this year.
Our guest, David Cohn from Crane and Company, he played college football for the Michigan Wolverines, and his father-in-law is the great Richard Todd, who played at Alabama and then for the Jets and the Saints in the National Football League. Give us your assessment of Seth Hennigan, the quarterback of the Memphis Tigers, and we haven't made our picks, but we're all very bullish on the Tigers for this year. But what about at quarterback, the most important position in all of team sport?
Look, man, Memphis I'm so impressed every time I see this team go out there and play. And, to me, it's not just football. What they do on the basketball court is phenomenal, too. But, they just play this blue-collar mentality of football. It's very similar to whenever we'd have to go on the road and play Michigan State, or we have to go on the road and play Penn State. It seems like that's what you get when you play this Memphis team. And obviously, very, very impressed with the quarterback play. So, I'm going to be watching them all season long, and they're an interesting team to bet, too, just because I feel like whenever you have those teams that really play that blue-collar mentality of football, hard-nosed, efficient on offense, but also tough on defense, they tend to cover a lot of games, too. So it's going to be one of the ways that I'm hoping that I can maybe get a leg up on the Crane boys is looking at teams like Memphis this year, like Texas Tech, those sorts of teams that I'm really, kind of flying under the radar. But if you watch college football, they always catch your eye when they're on television.
David, trust me, we love the action on this show.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, and you got to look. Well, you get Arkansas State, right? They have. They get Navy as well, don't they?
They get Arkansas State next week. They'll start 1-0 against Bethune-Cookman, then go to Jonesboro, and then Navy on Thursday night. That's right. And that'll be a pretty good comparison of Hennigan to Hartman.
Yeah.
And then where do they have – they get Tulane this season at home, I believe, right?
Boise State at home.
Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's going to be – and then I think SMU, too, later in the season at home.
That's right.
If I'm not mistaken anyway. So I can't wait for some of those games, and then obviously they'll get Central Florida as well. So those and look, Central Florida, I like Central Florida also.
No Central Florida for Memphis. They're out of that league.
They don't get Central Florida this year at all, even out of conference?
No.
Okay, gotcha. I'm excited for a lot of those games they're going to play, especially, matching up against a team like Navy. Like we were talking about with Notre Dame, a lot of people look down on Navy and Army and Air Force. These teams. Anytime you schedule a service academy, you should do so with the utmost. Even if you're a top program or something and you win by a big score, the experience of playing those service academies like Memphis is going to be able to do is just such an awesome opportunity. And those teams come into it with such a different mindset because football's not first to them, right? I mean, they're a service academy, and those men and women are trying to help defend our country. So that's always an awesome experience whenever you can schedule one of them.
Absolutely. The prospects for the season for your alma mater, Michigan Wolverines. That great helmet, that great fight song, that great setting. I've got them in the college football playoff. I got them there undefeated in the college football playoff.
Wow, look at you, Brett. Yes, sir. I love to hear it. Very tumultuous off season here, right? I mean, we got Jim Harbaugh was going to be suspended 4 games, and then no games, and then it's at 3 games. And, I don't know what to make of it. I'm so disappointed in the NCAA these days, fellas. And they're going to suspend Mason Smith, the LSU defensive lineman, for the opener against Florida State for something that's not only legal now in the NCAA, but it's actually celebrated. And then same with Jim Harbaugh. We've heard all this talk about cheeseburgers and all this kind of stuff, talking to recruits during a COVID dead period and not following the rules. Well, I mean, heck, what were the rules? During that period of human existence, everything was changing every 2 hours. So I don't really know from that perspective what's going on. Obviously, the outside narrative outside of Michigan is, what does it matter? Those first 3 games are so easy. They're cupcakes. They don't need a head coach. That's not what it's about. I mean, anytime you run out there without your head coach, it's serious because you feel as if, have we done something wrong? Have we broken the rules? Are we being unjustly punished? And I really think that's the narrative and the mentality in the Michigan locker room right now is that, hey, the bad guys are out to get us. We need to circle the wagons for our head ball coach right now, which honestly I think could reset the narrative from this offseason, which has been about Michigan. Oh, well, this is their best roster ever. They have a cupcake schedule. They're going to cruise to the national championship. This really has reset that mindset to say, no, we have to stay focused. They're out to get our head coach. And I do think they'll take care of business. Obviously, on the road at Penn State this year is going to be a dogfight. I got to play over there at Happy Valley 2 different times at night. It's going to be a whiteout. It's going to be awesome. And if their quarterback, Drew Aller, figures it out, Penn State's going to be a serious problem, and I don't even need to talk about the Buckeyes. It doesn't matter where you play them or when you play them. Anytime Michigan and Ohio match up, it is going to be a game to watch. And with Michigan winning the last two, you know that Ryan Day and them want to win that football game. But like you said, Brett, I have the highest expectations, and why shouldn't you? Yes, Jim Harbaugh, back-to-back Big Ten champions, back-to-back college football playoff.
That's what he was hired for.
He got embarrassed in both of them. He got embarrassed by Georgia 2 seasons ago, upset and embarrassed by TCU a season ago. So the mountain to climb has been, man, we have got to beat our biggest rival, Ohio, because if you don't beat them, you can't make the conference championship. If you don't make the conference championship, you can't make the playoff. Well, he's done that the last 2 seasons. Now the mountain is, okay, well, let's win a playoff game and let's go win a national championship. That's what he was hired for, and Michigan is still the type of program that should never be shy of saying that's the goal. I mean, there's a bunch of programs around the country that are like that. You know, Alabama and Georgia and LSU, we know about all them. But still, Texas, even though they've been down for a while, Southern California, Oklahoma, these teams that haven't won national championships in a while, they should never be shy about making that the goal because it's always a possibility. And so I have Michigan winning the national championship this year, mostly because for that reason. I don't think we should be shy in a year that we return J.J. McCarthy at quarterback and Blake Corum's going to come back and Donovan Edwards, the best running back duo in the country, back-to-back Joe Moore award winners on the offensive line, could have 7 offensive linemen drafted from this team. Yes, that should be the goal, and Jim Harbaugh needs to go prove that he can go toe-to-toe with these SEC teams like Georgia and Alabama. And I think he's 1-6 in postseason play. He knows that's not good enough. Everyone knows that's not good enough. So what better year than 2023 to change the narrative?
If a Michigan player wins the Heisman Trophy, who will it be? Who should it be?
It'll be Blake Corum. Now, I do think that J.J. McCarthy is so gifted at quarterback, just athletically with his ability to use his feet in designed run and with scrambling, and then obviously he can really air it out. That, yes, if he takes the type of step he did from freshman year to sophomore year, if he takes that step from sophomore year to this season to junior year, then, of course, he will be in the Heisman Trophy running, especially if Michigan remains undefeated and has a very special season. But Blake Corum at running back came back for a reason. I mean, we're talking about a 1,500-yard rusher last year, and he was number 2, I believe, on my Heisman Trophy board before he got injured against Indiana, and that was the next to last game of the season. So, you know, if he stays healthy, he came back for a reason. I think he could be in New York.
So you're very high on Michigan and have them winning the national championship. Who are the other 3 teams in your college football playoffs?
So I have Georgia going unscathed through the SEC East. Obviously, that, and many people do, but that's not a no-brainer. I mean, you know, say what you will about Stetson Bennett, and, you know, he was a walk-on, and they have 5-star quarterbacks, and they'll replace him easy. I mean, that kid was a gamer, and look at all the great quarterbacks Georgia has had. My year, Matthew Stafford, DJ Shockley, Aaron Murray, all these fantastic quarterbacks weren't able to be national champions. And then Stetson Bennett comes in and he goes back-to-back. Clearly that, you know, the kid had something special. So replacing him, even with the highest recruits and 5 stars and all this and that and Carson Beck, like, that's no easy feat. And you go on the road to Tennessee, you know, I mean, you don't think Florida wants to beat you this year? Billy Napier's fighting for his job down there. So despite what they say about the schedule, Georgia's going to get tested. I mean, even last year, Missouri played them to 4 games. It's hard to go win games in the SEC. So with a new quarterback, let's see what happens. And then obviously Mike Bobo is going to step back in. Everybody says Georgia has a new offensive coordinator. I don't see it that way so much, considering how much time Mike Bobo has been in Athens. But certainly he's replacing Todd Monken. So let's just see. I do have them going undefeated in the SEC East, and then I have them losing to LSU in the SEC championship game, which means I have Michigan in there. Georgia still gets in the college football playoff. LSU gets in the college football playoff at the 2 seed. And then I actually have Washington coming in and losing only 1 game to USC to be the 4th team there in the college football playoff. And for LSU's route, I have them beating Florida State this weekend, but just barely. And then I have their only loss on the road in Tuscaloosa. But I think maybe Alabama drops 2 this year. Obviously, we could be wrong. Let's see how Jalen Milroe plays, and maybe Alabama could come out of the West as well. So it's going to be a heck of a season.
We just mentioned Alabama. So last thing for you, I'm curious, you've been in these quarterback rooms, and when you have a quarterback competition like this and at Alabama where you have three guys where you could ask 100 people and you'll get three different answers from probably 33% of the people. I mean, it's pretty even on who could be the starting quarterback this year. What is that situation like for these guys? And then who do you think emerges as a starting quarterback? Do you think it's Milroe?
You know, you're talking about asking 100 people, getting 100 different answers.
Yeah.
That's not just outsiders. That's inside the program, too. I mean, I'm asking people directly involved with the inside of the Alabama football program, and there's still no consensus. And I love the way that Nick Saban goes about it when he says, hey, it's not my job to name a starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's your job
to
play in a way that makes me not be able to pull you off the field. Play in such a way that I cannot take you out of the game. Yeah. That's what makes you a starting quarterback. So just what Jalen Milroe can offer with his legs, since Ty Simpson and Buckner haven't won the job up to this point, I would say that you have to be looking at Jalen Milroe to at least start the season, especially with what he's able to do with his legs. And I watched on the air yesterday from all of the quarterbacks, and Milroe can sling it too, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He came in. He had those explosive plays against Arkansas last year when Bryce Young got hurt. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that kid starts the season. And then let's see. Maybe Ty Simpson or someone takes over in the middle of the year. Obviously, you didn't bring in Buckner for nothing from Notre Dame, right? I mean, you didn't bring him in for nothing. It's a similar situation to Auburn over there where they bring in the quarterback from Michigan State, and he did get named the starter because you're not bringing in guys from the transfer portal just to sit the bench. So, I know Nick's monitoring that situation very tightly, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, it should be a fun weekend of college football. David, enjoy it, and we'll do it again next week.
Thank you guys so much. It's a real treat.
Thank you, David. David Cohn, what a tour de force performance, guest hit from him, and we're going to have David all year, and he knows this stuff.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, we've talked to a lot of college football guests this week, and I just get excited one after the other for this week. And starting tomorrow night with some good games, it will definitely be a lot of fun. But let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll do our final visit with John Goen from Timber Trust.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
One of the most infamous and controversial bands in the world. Wasp, the 40th Never Stops World Tour with special guest, Armored Saint. Wasp live, September 7th, Graceland Live. Tickets are on sale now at waspnation.com. Wasp, feel the sting.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I have got an idea for a movie tie-in for Central Barbecue.
I don't like where this is going.
The Central Barbecue Oppenheimer Special. It's an explosion of flavor.
No.
So, Central Barbecue's ribs are the bomb?
No. Plus, Central Barbecue doesn't need that kind of promotion. Central Barbecue's food is the promotion.
Central Barbecue's hot sauce is
I'm telling you, Central Barbecue has always sold itself because you can't get better barbecue anywhere.
So, it's the Oppenheimer thing. All right, well, how about you can't spell barbecue without Barbie?
But you can.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right, over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing direct to the public. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo-priced new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Come and enjoy Sports 56 live in West Memphis, Arkansas at Meadowbrook Country Club this Friday, September 1st from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They're kicking off their semi-private club now at Meadowbrook Country Club. Bring your golf clubs and call for your tee time at 870-394-4186. It's going to be a hole-in-one fun. Enjoy winning lots of prizes and a chance to win 4 rounds of golf at Meadowbrook, 1250 West Broadway Avenue in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder sitting in the Family Leisure Studios and joining us for the final time for a couple weeks before we get to the Ryder Cup. John Goen with us from Timber Truss, and I guess now that Brett's back, we got to do it again officially now that the season's over. Congratulations on the win.
What a comeback!
Hey, what? I need a banner and
you got it. A ring? Do you need a parade?
No, I don't need a ring or a parade.
The ring will make your finger turn green, and the parade will be kind of like one of those parades through the French Quarter that you don't know what they're celebrating.
Yeah.
Well, next thing you know, you turn into some drunk guy on a float or on a boat like Tom Brady, and trying to throw your trophy back and forth. And next thing, it's a train.
And I got to explain it to Christine, and then it can go too. But
so
John,
it winds up not working well for anybody.
Great comeback, and you did it the old-fashioned way. You earned it. You came back with all those wins, finishing at about $40 million for the year. Here's the final wins miscut total.
Here we go.
John Goen, 5 wins, 7 miscuts. That's the most wins, and that's the fewest number of players that had that missed the cut.
That's how you do it right there.
Right there is the prescription for winning. I won twice, had 9 miscuts. Bryant won twice, had 12 miscuts.
Well, that's not how you win. That's
Hit
not
that
how you do
ugly
it.
stretch of about 3
Hold on,
weeks.
let's get to Jay.
Yeah, kind of where I mailed it in.
Jay Morgan, 1 W, 8 miscuts.
Wow, that's miscuts to me.
23 tournaments we picked. We, as a group, picked 10 winners, had 36 miscuts on the year.
Not terrible.
Crazy.
Not bad.
No, could be better. Next year's mine.
What was the story of the year in golf?
What was the story of the year in golf?
Was it Nick Taylor at the Canadian Open?
It could be. That was a good one.
No, because I've already forgotten about that.
Yeah. And it's the Canadian Open.
Sorry. Sorry, Nick Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I guess there's a few things, right? And I know you just asked for one, but I don't have just one. I mean, clearly the early dominance in the majors by the Live Tour players, and just so many of them making the cut at both the Masters and the PGA Championship. I think Wyndham Clark winning the U.S. Open is a pretty good story.
Ricky was a good story.
I think Ricky is a really good story. So, I mean, those are the things that I think as you look back on the season that you'll ultimately remember. I still don't have a very good handle. I guess if you look at what happened down the stretch of the last couple of months, is Victor Hovland your player of the year?
It's a great question. I mean, can you be player of the year without winning a major? Yeah.
So he won back-to-back weeks. He won the FedEx Cup. So he won 2 playoff events in the overall FedEx Cup. Yes, you can be. I mean, because your next best option is Scotty Scheffler, right?
Yeah.
Rahm early,
potentially
but faded. Yeah.
Rahm did not play well over the span of the last few weeks. Didn't play well ultimately in Memphis.
And ran hot, fussy.
Right. I mean, I think there's no way Jon Rahm's your player of the year. I don't see that happening. So therefore, that takes him out. Obviously, Koepka can't be. Wyndham Clark, I think, ultimately kind of faded. I mean, after he won the U.S. Open, you didn't really hear anything much out of Wyndham Clark until really this past weekend, where he kind of got himself into contention.
Brian Harmon's too short to be player of the year.
Entirely. I think there's got to be a height requirement there.
Yeah.
Nobody
can be PGA Tour player of the year that I'm taller than. That's the rule, John.
5'8's not going to make it.
He's not 5'8. I'm 5'8. I could post him up and dunk on his head.
Let's set it up. Let's do it.
Jeez, that got aggressive.
I did.
In a hurry.
Sure did. John, how impressive was it for the end of the season to have Lucas Glover win back-to-back tournaments and then Victor Hovland win back-to-back tournaments?
I mean, that's got to be unheard of in the modern era of golf. To have guys go, back to back. I mean, I don't recall. I mean, there were times where we were just talking about guys winning the same golf tournament, and defending their title. David Toms and Daniel Berger or folks like that from a Memphis perspective that have won the same event, back to back years. That you have, let alone winning back to back weeks, multiple weeks in a row. So. I don't recall that. Stats probably is much better at that question than I am from the standpoint of being able to recall anything.
It was some
I can't recall.
It was some
players
achievement,
going, back to back.
And I thought it might get Lucas Glover on the Ryder Cup. Ultimately, it did not. What did you think of the captain's choices? That's the tough one. That's the tournament director equivalent of having to give out. Sponsor exemptions. Zach Johnson, and he is set up for if JT's the bad guy, it's going to fall on Zach Johnson.
Yeah, so there's a few head scratchers. I could see not going with Lucas Glover. I think Lucas's tank is pretty empty right now. I think it was pretty evident, especially at the Tour Championship, that I think he's pretty much on E now. That being said, you've got, a month before the Ryder Cup? So, can he rest up? I mean, clearly nobody's playing golf between now and then, except for Justin Thomas, just to try to justify the fact that he might be able to play more than a singles match at the Ryder Cup. So, I mean, I can see not going with Lucas Glover. Cam Young's a bit of a head scratcher just based off of his President's Cup run, last year. I think I think Cam Young is still a pretty bright, up-and-coming star on the tour. But, I think Zach Johnson's already kind of got a lot of pressure on himself, a substantial amount of pressure on himself with putting Justin Thomas on the team and not looking at even potentially, a Dustin Johnson, a Bryson DeChambeau, somebody else that, potentially has some firepower. Justin Thomas is clearly struggling with his golf game right now.
Yeah.
There's been zero that you have seen from Justin Thomas that gives you any sort of feeling that he has momentum or has any sort of positive movement in a really good direction with regard to his golf swing. So I think, unfortunately, because of the LIV PGA Tour relationship and wanting to be loyal to a PGA Tour player, I think Zach Johnson potentially has already lost himself the Ryder Cup. And I think that Justin Thomas, at best, might just play singles.
Wow. Who's the biggest snub from the Ryder Cup team?
Well, I think realistically, if you look at it, it's Cam Young.
Keegan Bradley would have a case.
Yeah.
Keegan Bradley does have a case. I saw an interesting comment from Keegan about how, he's always kind of been the outsider with regard to the Ryder Cup. And he's tried to befriend some of these guys over the span of the last few years and clearly has just not made his way in. Keegan's had a heck of a year too, really, if you think about it. I mean, and for all intent and purpose, I guess, the U.S. Open puts Ricky probably over the hump a little bit for comeback player of the year. But, I mean, Keegan won the Travelers, which is, an elevated event to my recollection? Or maybe I can't remember whether it is or isn't. And then
he won the Travelers with you taking him as your shock pick. That was your launching point for the comeback.
That's where it started.
That's where it
Brett,
started.
I appreciate you bringing that up.
Thank you. I know you do, John.
Just to make me feel good.
I know you do.
But, I mean, compared to the Rocket Mortgage Classic, which wasn't that great of a field, I mean, people still go to Travelers. Nobody was really in Detroit outside of maybe Tony Finau, to my recollection.
That's it.
So, I think there is a bit of an argument, for comeback player of the year, but I think that Ricky's performance in the U.S. Open and ultimately kind of faltering a little bit, but still having a really strong showing is going to give him that comeback player of the year.
This time last year, for picking the 4 majors in 2023, there's no way, there's just no way anybody takes Wyndham Clark and Brian Harman. Using kind of that construct, who are 2 players out of nowhere? And I've got my 2. My 2 are Russell Henley and Harris English. Very similar to the kind of players of Harman and Clark. They're older than Clark. But for 2 out of nowhere players next year, could somebody emerge like that? Because that was fun stories to see 2 guys that nobody had.
That's a good question. I mean, just because, I think that's the great thing about the players that come out of nowhere. You just don't see it.
Corey Connors. Yeah.
Corey, Adam Hadwin. I mean, guys that have played well, but you just don't see them as being that option
Adam
to go out
Shank
and win a
could
major
be
championship.
in that anonymous group that wins a major next year. All right, not anonymous. When's Ricky Fowler going to win a major? We love him, but
he won't. He won't win one. He won't win one. Of the named guys, I could see Cam Young winning next year.
And, of course, Schauffele.
Cam Young realistically did not have a great year based off of his performance last year. I don't know what happened to Cam Young, but Cam Young, based off of how he finished in the PGA last year and how strong of a player he was, I really felt like I expected more out of him this year than what I got.
For next year, simply to make a cut. Simply to make a cut, Tiger Woods.
How about playing an event? I mean, playing a
bending over
event
and teeing it
outside
up.
of Augusta.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, so Tiger's going to have how much recovery time now from his latest procedure? I mean, he hadn't played anything since the foot injury at Augusta, right?
Since that Saturday, that could have been the story of the year, and that was like watching a wounded animal.
Oh yeah,
that was sad. In that cold, in those conditions, that greatness, that charm, to see him out there just get me to where I can sign this scorecard.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because wasn't it Justin Thomas that wound up like bogeying the last two holes that allowed Tiger to make the cut at that event?
To have to go out there and endure that. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, so kind of ironic from that perspective. But yeah, I mean, hell, you got to think right now, Tiger playing in an event next year is going to be a story in and of itself.
Does he play with Charlie in the father-son here in the fall? I doubt.
Well, and what? He's got an event down in Mexico in November at Diamante. So the golf course I was just down playing on vacation, the Tiger course is literally tied into that resort, and they've got the Dunes course, and then they've got Tiger's course that we could not play. They were doing a bunker renovation, but I don't know. Are they moving the here? I don't know. That's why I'm asking. They might be moving the Hero World event to this place in Mexico that Tiger designed. So, I mean, does he potentially try to play in that event? Things along those lines. So, is that his next appearance? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm sure if there's one event he's going to try to play in, he wants to continue to showcase Charlie. So I think he will try to play, in the father-son or the parent-child, whatever they now refer to it as, from that perspective. But I mean, Tiger even playing an event, I could see the exact same thing happening next year to where I think he wants to continue to play at Augusta just because of how special that place is, how special it is to him, how special it is to golf. But I mean, I think outside of that, especially depending on where his recovery is at, because we've not heard anything at all in regard to how Tiger is ultimately recovering from this latest procedure. Tiger could very well be just I play in one event plus the parent-child, and that's what my year looks like moving forward.
Yeah. That's sad. John, before we let you go, tell us what's coming up at Timber Truss and how people can get in touch for these upcoming events and to make a tee time.
Well, guys, it's hard to believe, but it's Labor Day weekend.
It sure is.
Kind of crazy to think about.
Sure is.
That we're kind of winding it down here, but great weekend. Clearly, right now, the weather is spectacular. I mean, it's supposed to be 83 degrees tomorrow. If you're not playing golf tomorrow, if you're not taking a PTO day, if you're not figuring out a way to take a vacation day, if you're not figuring out a way to take a conference call from a golf course, you need to figure that out. You need to figure that out. Should be just spectacular. It's supposed to warm up here a little bit, but nothing compared to what we had last week. Should be a great weekend for golf. You can call us at 662-895-3530. Just a couple of two-mans left. We got a two-man, obviously, tomorrow night to kick off Labor Day weekend early. We'll obviously have some of the college football games on tomorrow night as we kick off college football season. We've got our full field college football kickoff scramble on Labor Day on Monday, but we are full for that event, but it's going to be a blast. We got a lot of fun things scheduled for that. Our partnership with Ghost River Brewery is really a great partnership. We've got the folks from Two Crazy Fellas down there in Olive Branch doing food that day, which will be they do such a great job with that. So we're looking forward to that. And really, we're talking about some fun things. We're looking at maybe scheduling a night golf event here coming up sometime in the next month or so, so that should be fun. And then, of course, we'll wrap up very similar to the Ryder Cup. We'll do our Timber Cup matches that third week of October when all Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Memphis are all out of town that weekend, the 21st and 22nd of October. So it should be a great fall. We're really looking forward to it. The weather's kind of lining up. It's been a great stretch this week, though, as the rain has kind of moved on. Sunday kind of breaking all that heat. And this week has just been spectacular. Seen a lot of great folks out. And really, really just looking forward to football season. Mm-hmm. Such a great time of year. And really hoping that my Virginia Tech Hokies can finish better than 6-6.
Yeah, should be hopefully a better year for them. But, John, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again around the Ryder Cup.
We'll look forward to it, guys, and appreciate everything this year. It's been a lot of fun.
Sure has been.
Always cannot be more thankful for the opportunity to be on with you guys every single week, and just really appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, John. Thanks a lot.
Y'all take care.
You got it.
John Goen from Timber Trust joining us to talk some golf and kind of look back at the season. I mean, hey, yeah, good for him. I'm coming next year. Next year's my year.
We'll get him next year.
I feel like I say that every year. Next year is the year. Let's get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You want the hottest summer deals in the Mid-South? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it in 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing. Get SUV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind. 253 miles of EPA estimated range. $292 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia EV6 Wind with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE. Only $425 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 659,993. MSRP 22,540. Nero P 501,5237. MSRP 41,390. EV6 P 560,3393. MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9523. Dealer stock only warranties. A limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com. Click recipes and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
From brilliant to beautiful, we've heard lots of words used to describe the Sissy's Log Cabin experience, but we think one sums it up best: extraordinary. Here, you'll find an unparalleled selection, impeccable service, and an experience that makes you feel like family. Shop online at sissyslogcabin.com or stop by one of our 6 locations. Find your trusted jeweler for a lifetime only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
At the end of your first year, Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. All the cash back from eating at your favorite soup dumpling restaurant doubled. All the cash back from that trip where you sort of learned to snowboard also doubled. And the best part, you don't have to do anything ridiculous to get it. Nope, Discover does it automatically. Serious though. See terms, check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Whatever vehicle needs you may be wishing for, we've got you covered at Gossett Mitsubishi. 41 MPG Highway that can turn on a dime, that's 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $17,395 or $249 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross combines luxurious styling with cutting-edge technology, generous cargo room, and versatility, $29,100 or $399 a month. And the powerful and fun-to-drive 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,580 or $499 a month. And you'll always get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, G4 PH 06839, MSRP 17895, Cross RZ 00688, MSRP 29850, Outlander PZO 59809, MSRP 30080, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So my big number today is 20. We talked a lot of baseball, some of these teams that have really struggled. Well, earlier today, Hector Gomez, who is an MLB insider from the Dominican Republic, really focuses on the players that are from the Dominican Republic, has DR heritage. He tweeted out sources, Jason Dominguez, the 20-year-old prospect in the Yankees organization that we've heard about for years.
Greatest
really
prospect ever.
I mean, really, since he's been 16 years old, you've heard this is the next big thing. Jason Dominguez could make his MLB debut on Friday. A person very close to the player informed me that Jason called his mother to take a flight tomorrow to be present for his debut with the Yankees. So we could be getting
Where
Jason
are the Yankees
Dominguez.
playing
That's a good question. Let's take a look. Yankees.
Nicknamed the Martian, by the way, Jason Dominguez is because
that's a great nickname.
Because he is one of the largest men ever and hits both ways.
In Houston. How about that?
That'd be a whew.
So they're not doing it to sell tickets.
No. This is just to, I guess, call them up and get some at-bats.
Huh. Did you use this number earlier this week? Mine's 78. Did you use that earlier this week?
I don't think so.
78 wins for the Memphis Tigers since 2014.
Love it.
That's most in the AAC. And one of my constant refrains, sermonettes, is worry about what you're doing in your league. And that goes for anybody out there. That's good for everyone out there. Tigers have 78 wins in the AAC. That's the 14th most in all of college football. We know number 79's on the way on Saturday in the first meeting ever against Bethune-Cookman.
Jim Warren?
Presumptuous, Brett. No, you pretty deservingly so.
I'm putting it on the board.
Yes, put it on the board.
How about this? Courtesy of OptiStats, this is a Dodgers stat here. I really thought this was interesting. Dodgers, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, 3 big numbers here, 40, 10, and 3. Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts have each had 40-plus hits, 10-plus doubles, and 3+ stolen bases this month.
Wow.
The last pair of teammates to do that in a single month were the Tigers' Charlie Gehringer and G. Walker in August of 1937.
I got nothing on G. Walker, but Charlie Gehringer's in Hall of Fame.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, what they're doing over in L.A. is really unbelievable.
Making a run at it.
When you go to Sporkle and you have all the baseball Hall of Famers of all time, you can learn who's in the Hall of Fame.
I believe it. I believe it pretty easily, like going through flashcards almost. So let's get to a break, and when we come back to start our third and final hour, we got to get some more wins and losses. We'll do Tulane, Mississippi State, Rice, and Kentucky. That's next on Sports Time.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
O'Reilly. Do you need new wiper blades but aren't sure which ones are right for you? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. We'll show you the best options for your specific vehicle and even install your new wipers for free. And right now, save $10 per pair on Bosch Focus wiper blades, plus get 2 times O-Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right, over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing direct to the public. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo-priced new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
With Labor Day and football season right around the corner, now's a perfect time to head on down to Memphis Barbecue Supply for all your cookout needs. Whether you need fuel, equipment, or seasoning, we have it all and more in store. We boast the largest selection of fuel and wood in the Mid-South. You'll be covered on all your kindling needs, from pellets to logs to chunk and chip, and of course, briquette and lump charcoals. We have many different varieties available to choose from. Speaking of variety, we encourage you to browse our selection of over 300 different rubs and sauces. Our knowledgeable staff is always available to assist with any questions you may have for your next cook. So stop on by and let's get you set up right for this barbecue season at Memphis Barbecue Supply. Memphis Barbecue Supply is located at 7041 Stage Road in Memphis, or you can order online at mbbq.com. Follow us on all the social media platforms for recipes, new products, and barbecue news.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
All right, welcome back into Sports Time, our third and final hour, and we got to get back to some wins
Schedules
and losses.
everywhere.
Oh, they're all over the place. I keep putting mine up on accident. What am I doing putting up my schedules? Got to do 4 more teams.
Keep that schedule handy all year long.
Got to keep it right in front of me. Tulane, Mississippi State, Rice, and Kentucky. Jay Morgan, you had a tease earlier about one of these teams and how you have them going this year, so I'm very excited to see what that
Jay
is.
Morgan. I have not looked. He gave me a sheet. I did not look at it. You got Tulane straight up over Ole Miss week 2, don't you?
Whoa, in New Orleans.
I guess we'll just have to sit on the edge of our seat and find out what's happening.
Wow. All right. So, again,
that's
going
to be national upset
absolutely.
alert. It will be.
100%. I mean, we're talking about there's several games between American and SEC teams, UTSA and Tennessee, Ole Miss and Tulane. I mean, there's going to be some big upset games that we're talking about throughout the season. But where do we want to start, American or SEC?
Let's start American.
All right, we'll start in the American with Tulane.
Here we go.
I'll kick us off. I have Tulane going 10-2 this year. I have them opening the season. I think this is going to be a really good game this weekend against South Alabama.
Kane Womack is building something at South Alabama. I think he will be prominent in coaching carousel season, Thanksgiving weekend, and beyond. And this is a matchup of 2 great coaches.
Yeah, and I think for Tulane, I think they're looking ahead to that Week 2 game against Ole Miss, and so I think it will be a very close, competitive game.
And then Week 3 is the revenge game of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm giving them a win in Week 1, but because of how close and competitive I think of a game it will be, I have them losing Week 2 against Ole Miss, but then I have them rattling off a ton of wins after that at Southern Miss, Nichols, UAB, then you get an off week. At Memphis, I have a win. North Texas, I have a win. At Rice, I have a win. At East Carolina, Tulsa, Florida Atlantic, and then we get the matchup of the year in the American Athletic Conference, UTSA versus Tulane. I have UTSA coming out on top in that one to really stamp their ticket to the AAC championship.
It could be a
game.
rematch.
It could, and it could be. It should be a great game to end the regular season. And so for that reason, I have them 10-2.
In fact, I have Tulane and UTSA rematching in the year of the rematch. In most of the rematches, I have the team that lost the regular season game getting the revenge in the rematch. We'll see.
Yeah.
For me with Tulane, I have them 10-2, 7-1 in the league. They win against South Alabama. They lose against Ole Miss, and I'm going to say it now. All the people, and it's going to be the Sheiky upset alert next week of the early part of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Ole Miss blast Tulane. They
Really?
lose to Ole Miss. They defeat Southern Miss in maybe their revenge game of the year. You go back to that box score last year. Tulane outrushed, outpassed, had fewer turnovers. They won the time of possession. They had fewer penalties. How did they lose that game?
Still can't make sense of it.
They get revenge. They beat Nichols. They beat UAB. They went on Friday the 13th here against the Tigers, I think in a fun, wild game with two great quarterbacks. They defeat North Texas. They defeat Rice. They lose at Dowdy-Ficklin to ECU, and they close out the year winning against Tulsa at FAU and against Texas San Antonio, and they rematch in the AAC championship game against UTSA.
Jay Morgan?
Here
we go.
Not so fast. 9-3 I have Tulane.
Wow.
I have them losing to Ole Miss, Brett.
Okay.
So they start 4-1 on the year, losing to Ole Miss. They go into that bye week. They come out. They beat Memphis on the road. I really went back and forth on that one because it's a home game for Memphis. It's a Friday night game.
Dave makes a good argument.
But I tell you
Dave
what,
to talk me into it. That's the game that Dave made the great point on.
But that's like NFL logic, and I don't mean to say that. What I mean by that is like there's just too many factors in college games that like. But I do love a home dog on a weeknight.
Sure do.
I really do. But Memphis loses that game. Tulane wins it. I'm sorry. I kept going back and forth.
You still bet on Memphis.
I was going back and forth here on the radio.
On the Tigers.
And we reserve the right to game week.
Absolutely.
We're not married to August 30th
when we do
picks.
our Friday football forecast picks, I am not remembering this sheet of paper.
Switcherooski.
So my 3 losses for Tulane are the week 2 against Ole Miss, and then the last 2 weeks of the year. I think they dropped 2 in a row at FAU, and I think they lose to UTSA at home.
Wow, 9-3. Interesting. All right. Rice is our next team. Rice. I don't have it being a good season for Rice. Don't know much about Rice this year. I have them at 3-9 on the year. Their only wins: Texas Southern at USF, and then later in the season at Charlotte. Kind of an upset against a Charlotte team that I think could do. Hey, if Charlotte can pull that, I remember when I was doing this, I had Charlotte 5-7. I wanted to make them bowl eligible, but I just couldn't do it, so I made Rice a loss. So I think a little bit of an upset there for the Howls.
I have them 3-9 as well, 1-7 in the league, and playing 3 former Southwest Conference teams, the first 2 opponents of the year, Texas, Houston, and later in the year, SMU. My 3 wins, Texas Southern, and home game with nobody there against UConn.
Oh, Brad.
And late in the year at Charlotte.
Down on UConn.
Jim Moore.
Yeah. Jay Morgan?
Who could blame you there? For me, the Rice Owls go 1-11 this year, and that sole win happens at home against Texas Southern in week 3, and that's the only one they sniff out this year. I've got them at the very bottom of the American.
Wow.
Poor Rice Owls.
Worst, is that the only team you have 1-11?
It is. It's the only 1-11 team I've got.
JT Daniels, not the season he expects.
Did you see the tweet graphic today of JT Daniels? This will be the 3rd time he's played Texas in his college career at 3 different places
schools.
from on 3. Was he the Georgia quarterback when Texas was back with Sam Ehlinger in the Sugar Bowl?
That's right.
He was. Yep.
That was like 13 years ago, wasn't it?
Seems like it. I mean,
when Bevo tried to gorge.
Sure did.
Uga.
There's been a lot of quarterbacks. I mean,
dog.
As much as we want to talk about
really
Stetson
dumb
Bennett,
idea. Let's take the mascots over and have them meet. They're animals.
Yes, they're. What did you expect?
Hi, I'm Mr. Uga. Hi, I'm Bevo. They don't do that.
Nice to meet you. Let's do this again next year.
How was your New Year?
No, they're animals. But you kind of go back and think about it. I mean, Stetson Bennett's been there for a couple years now. There's been a lot of quarterbacks at Georgia 10 or so years.
I had him winning the Heisman Trophy.
You did, but we don't have to. We don't have to do that. We don't have to go.
I'm
back
honest
to that.
about my bad picks too.
You are. But let's get to the SEC and go with Mississippi State. It's going to be a tough season for them just because of everything that happened. A lot of tragedy still down there being the first season after the death. And so for that reason, I just don't know what to expect from them. So I have them going 6-6 this year. 2 wins, a win against Southeast Louisiana, a win at Arizona, but it won't be easy against Arizona. But I do have them pulling that one out. I have 3 straight losses after that: LSU, South Carolina, Alabama. I mean, that is just a very difficult stretch for Mississippi State. 3 straight losses there. A win over Western Michigan, you get to your off week. Then 2 back-to-back losses, Arkansas and Auburn. A win at Kentucky or at home against Kentucky. Then you go to College Station and lose, and then you win your last two games against Southern Miss, and then you win one for the Pirate in the Egg Bowl against Ole Miss.
And your overall record again for state?
My overall record 6-6.
That's mine as well. 6-6 for state, 2-6 in the league. 2-0 Southeast Louisiana and Arizona, both wins, and then lose those 3 straight like you had. Win against Western Michigan, lose at Fayetteville to Arkansas, lose at Auburn, then beat Kentucky, lose at College Station, and I have them closing out at Starkville. Yeah. And in the Egg Bowl, the home team hadn't won since 2020.
Wow.
In 2021, Ole Miss won at Starkville. Last year in Oxford, Mississippi State won. That series kind of it should be a home team series, a home field advantage series. I have State winning over Southern Miss and Ole Miss, both in Starkville, 5 days apart to wrap up the season, to go 6-6 and 2-6, and the bowl game for State, the Birmingham Bowl.
Oh, okay.
You know what it is, though? It is a throw the records out game, though. If it's not a home team wins game, we do throw the records out.
Won't Southern Miss be the same way, though? And that is Southern Miss's Super Bowl.
That is true.
Could be.
Might have to throw the record out back-to-back weeks.
Could the 2 weeks throwing the records out. I don't want to throw the records out, though.
Around,
yeah, man.
I don't want to throw the records out, though, because I've got State going 9-3.
Whoa.
I've got them beating Southeastern Louisiana and Arizona.
You draw a lot of blood then.
Oh, absolutely.
I've got them losing to LSU, beating South Carolina.
You have them beating Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got them losing to LSU, beating South Carolina, and losing to Alabama. Two of those games are in Starkville. I'm winning the one on the road. You could trade those. Hell, they still could win at South Carolina, and they maybe could win one of those. I don't know. Beat Western Michigan off a bye. Hell, they could go to Arkansas off a bye and win that game too, because Arkansas will be coming off of Alabama, Ole Miss, A&M, and LSU, so they could win that game. But then they might throw another one. I'm winning the last 5, so they easily could win that Arkansas game and trade another one of those later. No matter how I look at it, I'm happy with 9-3. I don't know if my losses are exactly right. I'm happy with 9-3 though.
Thrilled
this
with
is
9-3.
This is a schedule this year. This is the schedule. We look through these schedules and we're looking for one
right.
where there are wins on it just by the way it's scheduled. State has that schedule. They're playing advantageous home games. Arkansas on the road off a bye. State has the schedule for me.
That's a great point about Arkansas. I mean, LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, and then Mississippi State.
There's got to be some starters out in there just from the attrition of playing.
Got to.
Any college football league. Name the last Mississippi State coach to beat Alabama. Can y'all do that?
Dan Mullen.
Sly Croom.
Sylvester Croom. Very
wow.
good. In 07, in Nick Saban's first year.
Wow. That was incredible, Jay Morgan. I really am impressed.
Very good.
Been that many
I'm
coaches.
glad I didn't bet lunches any place in town for the rest of the month. Well, only one day left. That would have been a good bet.
It would have been a good bet.
Sly Croom also once coached a game against Auburn that finished 3-2 the final score.
I can hear State fans now, and I guarantee you go to the text line, I would see it. Y'all have us like this, not 9-3, but mind your pick.
Sure.
Y'all have us like this every year. It does seem like that. I don't know.
But I mean,
I don't know a good defense against that because you're right. I probably do.
But I mean, I feel like we've talked about that the last couple of days. That's just the SEC. Is like when you look at the SEC, it's hard. I mean, you can't have every team going 9-3 in the conference. It's hard to kind of find those teams.
Then why do we have almost every team going 7-5 or 6-6?
Yeah, I've got almost every team. It seems like going 7-5.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the way it goes with the non-conference games. If you have advantageous non-conference teams, you can find yourself going 7-5. But I've got a lot of 7-5.
Would it shock me if you're right at 9-3? No. And if it's 9-3, even with a loss in the bowl game, that would be back-to-back 9-4s.
Brett.
If they won the bowl game, that's 19 wins in these last 2 years.
I also think a factor in all this too, and I've never done this for college. I do it for NFL all the time, especially when I'm like looking at what could happen over the course of a season. State is as equipped to deal with injury at quarterback.
Yes.
Better than, maybe not better than every team in the SEC, but as good as every other team in this league.
Your backup quarterback was a starter at an SEC school.
And they're close. And they're going to have packages for him that really changes up your offense. I don't know a lot about the State team. I know I'm just looking at quarterback there, but between the schedule and all this stuff, I could see this being a good year for State.
Will Rogers maybe the most underappreciated great player in the history of the league.
That's what I was just about to say is, Brett, we talk about they could easily be 9-3. They have probably the most experienced quarterback in the country on their team.
Obliterated. You know about throwing the record book out.
Yeah.
He has.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is a big year for Mississippi State. We talked about
that was my one, by the way, that I wanted everyone.
That was
the Mississippi State 9-3.
Good one.
I thought it was Tulane.
I thought it was Rice.
Good head fake.
I mean,
I knew it wasn't Rice.
I just wanted to hope that maybe we get Rice going like 7-5 this year. That'd be great. But
I got a state friend of mine texting me now. He says 9-3, 8-4 was my pick. Jay Morgan is now my new favorite host.
I mean,
a great.
I knew I'd
fan.
make some state Bulldog friends today from the state.
It's a good one. Get you a cowbell now.
I got cousins. I have a lot of cousins that went to
I'm going to
state.
bust him out, too. The great Greg Hines at Windike. A really, really good guy.
I love it.
Love you, Greg Hines.
Let's get to Kentucky. For the Wildcats, I also have them at 6-6 this year. Just a lot of unknown. I mean, I understand you get a transfer quarterback in.
Right, if I properly can be accused of, you do this every year to us at state. Don't we do it every year?
Do the same thing for Kentucky. In Kentucky, Mississippi State has been very good the past couple of seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky has also been right there as a really good team.
Why
in
do
the
we
SEC.
start with their baseline at 6-6? Why do I do that every year? And I do both of those.
Well, because I think you start with the Alabamas and the Georgias.
Somebody's got to lose.
And the love fest we have for Texas A&M every year, and you get those.
That's who we can blame it on.
Exactly. Texas
Perfect
A&M.
fold to blame it on.
If you're going to have Texas A&M at 10-2 every year, and Alabama and Georgia combined to lose, 2 games? I mean, you're going to have a lot of 6-6, 7-5s in there in the SEC.
I'm hearing from all my state friends now.
And they're all big fans of Jay Morgan.
Yes.
Not big fans of us.
You could get an honorary cowbell.
Hey,
I need one.
Hey, 6-6, you're still going to a bowl game. I mean, you're going bowling.
Wait till they hear that sounder for Tuesday. Look back at the Monday. Look back at the SEC, and we find the Jack Crystal drop. Have you found it yet?
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's there? Good.
So for Kentucky, I have them 6-6. I have a very strong start to the season. I have them winning, 5 straight games? Ball State, Eastern Kentucky, Akron, Vanderbilt, Florida. All wins for Kentucky.
Back to back against Florida. Did you think we'd ever live long enough to see that?
No.
And just pencil in predictions the 5-0 start for Kentucky and Florida being one of the easy games.
Brett, I thought we made it clear last year. Kentucky's a football school now.
Well, we had that debate, but you see who's on TV in the middle of football season.
He's got to do his rounds because it's a football school now. He's got to make up for
Remember me?
Yeah, I'm the basketball coach. But I have him starting 5-0, a really good start to the year. A lot of energy around that Kentucky program. But then after that, you go to Athens to play Georgia. That's a loss. Come back home, but you're beat up against Georgia. You lose to Missouri. You get that off week. Then you got to play Tennessee, another loss. Mississippi State, I have a loss. Alabama, I have a loss. South Carolina, on the road, I have a loss. And then you wrap up the season with a very competitive game and a win against Louisville. I have them bowling, but maybe a disappointing season after the 5-0 start for Kentucky.
I have Kentucky coming to the Liberty Bowl at 6-6. I have Kentucky playing West Virginia in the Liberty Bowl, and I have Kentucky starting 4-0, not the 5-0. I just can't make myself pick Kentucky to beat Florida, even with the game in elections. So they start 4-1 with the loss to Florida, lose to Georgia 4-2, defeat Mizzou 5-2, then losses to Tennessee, Mississippi State, Alabama, and South Carolina. They win the Governor's Cup game Thanksgiving weekend over Louisville, 6-6, and they head to the Liberty Bowl.
I'm surprised. I've got them 7-5, and I kind of am looking at this schedule thinking I might have gone low end here. So I have them starting 5-0. They beat Florida. That could be a loss, but it is in Lexington, so I have it as a win, 5-0. Losing to Georgia, obviously, then beating Missouri. So they go into their bye week 6-1, which is unbelievable.
Damn.
I have them losing to Tennessee out of the bye, but that's another one out of the bye that I think they legitimately could win because Tennessee comes off playing A&M in Knoxville, but going to Alabama. So that could be one more I could add to Kentucky there. And then I have State. They lose to State. They lose to Alabama. They lose to South Carolina. So the way I have it written here is after that bye, they lose 4 straight and then end up with a win against Louisville. That equals 7-5. But tell you what, there's a lot of.
You know what it is?
What's that?
Basketball season.
That's right.
Yeah,
So that's why That's why I have them losing after the bye is because that bye might as well be the end of the season. October 28th is basketball season time.
But that really is. I mean, that after you get off that off week, I mean, that is a tough stretch to end the season.
They could beat Tennessee though.
They could.
Because that's the first one. Now, if you want to say they lose to State, Alabama, South Carolina, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
beat
that first
Tennessee,
one,
I'm bad wrong on Tennessee.
Well, I mean, exactly. If you're as high on
still,
Tennessee,
Tennessee could be great, and that's still. I mean, that's just
who
a
does
tough
Tennessee
game.
have around there?
They play Alabama and Tuscaloosa the week before, and A&M at home the week before that.
That's going to be one of those 7:00 games in Lexington, cold weather game. Tennessee's used to that though.
Yeah,
they play cold.
That'll be a fun one though. I mean, if we're right about how both of these teams start the season, that's going to be an extremely fun game.
So for the teams we've picked all week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week, I've got A&M going to the Cotton Bowl. I have Auburn going to the Music City Bowl, State going to the Birmingham Bowl. Have we picked Auburn yet?
Yes,
yeah, we picked them
we
today.
did.
Yeah. I have Florida. No, we picked them tomorrow. I have South Carolina going to the bowl in Houston that Ole Miss went to last year. Mizzou going to the second Tampa Bowl, the Gasparilla Bowl, and Kentucky coming here to the Liberty Bowl.
Unfortunately, I was not as detailed as you and picked bowl games for these. I wish I had.
Other than Rice, I think the team with the worst record that we've picked so far. Oh, we picked Navy today, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, they 4-8. Never mind. I was going to say 5-7 for Missouri is the worst record I've got.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but it's not.
I would say probably for me, I do have a 1-11 team in the American.
Oh, we've yet to get to. We got to mine today.
A little bit of a tease there.
I don't. I've got Navy at 2-10, but I had Rice 3-9. And I got Temple. We haven't got to it yet. But,
I think the team I have 1-11. I don't think we're picking until Friday, and it's not the Tigers. I can promise you that it's not the Tigers.
I'm glad to hear everybody is optimistic about the Tigers.
Me too.
Last year I was kind of out there by myself and was horribly wrong.
Yeah,
I went 9-3 last year.
Yeah.
And all those close games, they cash them in this year.
A lot of close games, a lot of injuries for that team last year. So I think you were on the right track, and this year could be the year when it pays off.
You know what right track gets you?
Not much.
Nothing.
Not much at all. But before we get to a break, we got to tell you about Hewlett and Dunn. They're our sponsors for the 5 o'clock hour. Hewlett and Dunn, boot and jean company on the historic square in Collierville since 1961.
They are. Charles Hall started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, and they're so proud of what they have accomplished. Known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team for any season. All these picks we're making, they've got a cap.
And when you're talking about boots, I mean, they really have a boot for every occasion. Western wear, work boots, safety toe boots, or soft toe and rubber boots. They really have it all at Hewlett and Dunn. And from head to toe, they have you covered with every brand imaginable. Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean, whether for men or women, they have you covered at Hewlett and Dunn.
They do, and it's more than just boots. Men's and women's clothing, jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duckhead collection you'll find.
And Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville, or you can go to HewlettDunn.com for their whole selection that you can find out there on the square.
Hats, sunglasses, you're going to need those. Boot care products. There will be a lot of boots out at the tailgates this college football season this weekend. Every area team, snapback cool hats you can think of, like Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, the Tigers, the Razorbacks.
And for those games, if you're going to out of town to one of these games, you need those travel essentials. They have the travel bag selection. It is top notch at Hewlett and Dunn. Go to their website, HewlettDunn.com, but also please visit and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi.
Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
You want the hottest summer deals in the Mid-South? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it in 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $249 a month, $29.99 due at signing. Get SUV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind. 253 miles of EPA estimated range. $292 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia EV6 Wind with up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE. Only $425 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte PE 659,993. MSRP 22,540. Nero P 501,5237. MSRP 41,390. EV6 P 560, 3393. MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for details. Offer valid through 9523. Dealer stock only. Warranties. A limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I gotta change the oil in my car.
Right now, get 5 quarts of STP conventional or high mileage with an STP oil filter for only $26.99.
Get in the zone.
And what do I do with my old oil?
We can recycle your used oil for free.
Get in the zone,
And I might need some help.
No problem. We have helpful how-tos at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Come and enjoy Sports 56 live in West Memphis, Arkansas at Meadowbrook Country Club this Friday, September 1st from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They're kicking off their semi-private club now at Meadowbrook Country Club. Bring your golf clubs and call for your tee time at 870-394-4186. It's going to be a hole-in-one fun. Enjoy winning lots of prizes and a chance to win 4 rounds of golf at Meadowbrook, 1250 West Broadway Avenue in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time in our Family Leisure Studios. About 30 minutes left in today's show, and I want to get to some of these NFL cuts that we didn't get to a lot of it yesterday. But before we do that, I talked with my with my big number of the day about Jason Dominguez and his potential call-up this weekend. Well, now it's official. Jeff Passan tweeted out about not even 30 minutes ago, a couple minutes ago, the New York Yankees are calling up their top two prospects, outfielder Jason Dominguez and catcher Austin Wells, sources tell ESPN. The 20-year-old Dominguez, a center fielder, and 24-year-old Wells, a catcher, are expected to debut with the team this weekend in Houston. I'll be honest, I think if you told anybody at the beginning of the season, a Yankee fan, hey, these two prospects, an outfielder and a catcher, will both be starting by the end of the season, I think a lot of people would have disagreed with that, or maybe said maybe they're just so good, these guys have improved so much, they're going to help them go to the playoffs,
also,
and quite the opposite.
A Yankees beat writer named Brian Hawk says that he's still doing the research, but as of right now, it appears this is the youngest the Yankees roster has been.
Wow.
I believe in more than 20 years.
I believe it. Volpe at shortstop, I believe it.
Well,
crazy.
They're going young. I think if you had told somebody, they would tell you they're 64 and 68 on August 13th and in last place in the American League East.
They better be putting together a young lineup. When you're winning 64 games, you don't need to be paying anybody.
If you told a Yankees fan before the season started their record on what's today, August 30th, they'd have a heart attack. I mean,
what if you also told them they might have the AL Cy Young winner on the same team?
Hey, you're
still 64.
That's right. That's right.
The Cy Young winner, and you're one of the worst teams in baseball. That doesn't make much sense.
It's so incongruent, and it's been that kind of year. I don't think Aaron Boone survives it.
How can he?
I don't think he should. I think they need a
you need a revamp. Voice. You need something new. Obviously, what's going on right now is not working. You need to switch it up and do something new.
I wish I'd have quit watching the Cardinals in April. Maybe this is what it is.
I wish the Cardinals would do this. I mean, they don't have anybody like Jason Dominguez. But if they did, I'd watch tonight's game. If this was the Cardinals,
absolutely.
I'd tell you what, I want to see Jason Dominguez.
No game tonight.
Yeah, they were playing.
Got a W in the books this afternoon.
I did Tommy Edman.
Tommy had a walk-off.
Walk-off.
Well, if they did play tonight and they also had Jason Dominguez, I'd watch tonight even if they had 60.
And Lars Nootbaar going to be in Memphis tonight for his rehab start.
I don't care to move.
Lars Nootbaar doesn't move the needle for you.
Get me going in the same way, I'm afraid.
That's
Cardinals take 2 out of 3 against the Padres.
How about that? Round of applause for the Cardinals.
Way to go, Cardinals.
Oh, man. That's how you do it right there.
Only 18 under 500 now.
Oh, man. How many games back are we?
A bunch. Exactly how many? In the Central, in the all-important loss column, 17. 17.
Well, I mean, I was going to say still time. Not time for that. That's a lot. But, no, I do think Jason Dominguez is at least something the Yankees fans can get excited about. And, it'll be fun to watch. I mean, this is literally a guy that...
Bigger flop, Mets or Yankees?
I'd probably say the Mets.
Really? Because they paid so much money?
So much money, and they didn't really deal with the injuries that the Yankees dealt with. I mean, you look at that pitching rotation that they really said was going to be the pitching rotation of the future. We haven't even seen that as a whole since they even acquired it a year ago.
And the Yankees can always rest on the trophy case. Now, it's back to 2009.
Sure.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
But it's back to 1986, the last time the Mets won it.
And with the Mets just kind of throwing all this money in your face and saying, we're going to buy the best team in baseball and just kind of to see what's happened is...
And for as contentious, as much as I hated sports hate, the 80s Mets, Cardinals and Mets rivalry, it was great.
Yeah.
To just win it once. I'm glad they're getting their numbers retired, and I know life may not have gone exactly as Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden thought it would go. Gooden stuff in 84, 85, 86. I've never seen stuff like it before or since. But for them, as good as, and they had a lot of complimentary players, just to win it once in that stretch.
It's hard to believe.
It was then, and it is now. But I'm glad they're getting their celebration, number 16 for Gooden, number 18 for Darryl Strawberry, that Cardinal fans would just ride, and he would always shut us up like Howard Johnson would.
Yeah.
I mean, the more we had that Darryl cheer. One night he hit one at Old Busch Stadium, and I'm sitting in right field. It cleared me.
It's still going
100 feet over my head, and it hit the Jumbotron.
Wow.
And I'm in the right field bleachers.
That's impressive. That really is impressive. But no, I mean, it'll be fun to watch.
The
Jason
clang
Dominguez.
it made it sounded like it broke the stadium.
That's awesome. I'd love to be there for that. That's great.
Sounds like the natural.
And
It
then,
does.
And then in '89, I go up for a Cardinal Mets series, and Kevin McReynolds from Arkansas hits for the cycle for the Mets.
Really?
Only cycle I've ever seen.
You know, Brett, you see a lot of the cycles. You saw, what was it last year? You saw two inside the park home
one
runs.
in AutoZone and one in St. Louis. Two inside the park
some
home
things,
runs.
Brett.
Never a no hitter though. At any level. Pony League, I never saw one.
A no-hitter, hard to do in baseball. But let's get to some of this NFL news with a lot of these cuts from yesterday. Kind of the big one, you brought it up earlier, but just the wild that when we got to the deadline yesterday, the New England Patriots only had one on their roster because they decided to waive both Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham.
So they're trying to top last year when they had no offensive coordinator.
Right. Mm-hmm.
This year, just try it with one
no
quarterback.
Yeah, and so for Bailey Zappi, obviously we already talked about cleared waivers. He's back on the practice squad for New England, but this is a guy that 2-0 in starts last year for the Patriots and was a decent quarterback.
I got to make an important correction, Brett. They had more than one offensive coordinator last year. They had two. I mean, that's what's better than one. Better than zero.
You
They
got
had
none.
a defensive coordinator as one of their offensive coordinators. You're right.
Who was the main offensive coordinator? Was a career
they really didn't
defensive
have
coach.
any, but they had two.
Wait, that's just like quarterbacks. If you got two, you got zero.
You got
right?
zero. You know what they say about offensive coordinators? You got two.
If you got two, you don't
got
have
zero.
any. That's honestly even more true, though, because
It
there has to
really
be a
is.
certain amount of leadership involved, and I think they righted that ship in a way, getting Bill O'Brien. I know his Texans career did not end in the most graceful way possible, but a career NFL coach and a fine college coach in his own right as well.
At a couple stops.
That's right.
Here's another one. High hard one. Who goes first? Belichick or Saban? Who retires first?
Oh, man.
Somebody will write that big think piece.
Something's got to give.
The closer we get to the fall.
Belichick's younger than Saban is, isn't he?
I think by a year or two.
It's only a year or two. I thought it was a little bit more considerable.
72 for both, I think.
Interesting. Well,
Coach Saban turned 73
Saban is
72 in the fall.
72.
This is the first time I've ever had a good answer to this
So
question.
he's
I think I got one.
71. Bill Belichick is also 71. Oh, who's older?
I think this is the first time I've ever had a good answer to this. Is that Nick Saban? The game around him. Saban's older.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's going to turn 72 in October.
And they're really
Belichick turned 71 in April.
The game around Saban is just changing so dramatically in a way that it's just not in the NFL that I could see that pushing him out in a way that it doesn't. That's not a factor in whether Bill Belichick retires or not.
And he's got the better chance of the two to go out on the float at the parade with the championship because the Patriots aren't winning another one under Belichick.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well,
not with Mac Jones at quarterback.
Yeah, and I know we make jokes the past couple of days about Nick Saban not releasing a depth chart for week one, but I kind of believe part of it of it's a distraction because now with the transfer portal and everything, I mean, you put out a depth chart for week one, and whoever's listed at quarterback number 2, they're going to say,
it's Cannonball Express.
I'm not
It's
staying here.
dorm. Everybody's getting out of town.
Wide receiver number 2. I can go play somewhere else. So I do believe in some sense it could be a distraction, and I don't think Nick Saban's going to want to have to kind of play all this kind of give and take with these players with the transfer portal. So I think it's very very real idea.
I already have here. I'm getting ready to make my second week 2 prediction next week. I said Ole Miss puts it on Tulane, Bama puts it on Texas next week.
You think so?
I sure hope it.
Do you want me to make you make another, or try to get you to make another statement
on
Alabama? Who leads them to that victory?
Jalen Milroe.
You think so?
Like David Cohn said.
Okay.
I think they settle in with him until he kind of plays his way out.
I think that's probably the most likely answer. I think with Buckner, I think that kind of gives you some of you kind of brought him in. He could have gone to a lot of places and goes to Alabama. You know, how much does that coming in kind of knows that offense that Reese is going to want to run, and does he kind of beat out for some early time? I think Milroe's probably the likely one, though.
And probably the quarterback that will emerge is the one that the locker room endorses.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
They often pick it ahead of the staff.
Got to pick it quick this year, though. With Texas on the horizon.
All right, back to NFL coach.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. You're all good. I did see before we get to one, I definitely want to talk to Damar Hamlin after that just awful injury last year.
He wasn't cut, was he?
No. He made the team. He made the team, which
Story of the year,
pretty sure.
hands down.
I mean, I thought all this time he'd make the team, but definitely cool to see. I mean, because in that moment, we didn't know if he would
make it a team.
I mean,
make it till tomorrow.
Exactly. We didn't know if he was going to survive the night, and to be able to play in these preseason games. I mean, it was a very scary situation.
We really didn't, and all of us texted someone.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's finally happened in a game.
Oh, absolutely.
And unbelievably, that story turns to we're talking about him making the team.
Yeah, it's really remarkable to see happen. But the one here locally that I think a lot of people will be talking about, former Ole Miss Rebel quarterback Matt Corral was waived by the Panthers last year after having to sit out all year last year with that injury, and then being waived. It definitely hard for Matt Corral, but using that number 1 pick this year on a quarterback, it's just a bad situation.
Yeah, you knew when they draft the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback number 1, he's going to have the job, and he's probably earned it over Matt. He just had such bad luck. But Matt Corral, it never has been easy for him. Remember, he committed out of high school to Dan Mullen, or to Jim McElwain in Florida, and Dan Mullen told him to hit the road.
Right.
And Matt Luke was there to get him, and then, with Rich Rod at coordinator and such a mess that how the 2019 season, 2019 season started and ended for Matt. Started here with his start against Memphis on a day he threw for 91 yards, and then ended at Starkville with everything that happened with Elijah Moore. But he almost led Ole Miss back that night. And then here comes Lane Kiffin and Jeff Lebby. Here comes COVID. Here comes the week before opening day of COVID year. I left the scrimmage thinking John Rice Plumlee.
I think a lot of people did.
Was going to be the starter, and then he rewrites the record book. So he's had curveballs, and he's got one now, and I think he'll answer.
Oh, I think absolutely. I think he will definitely
got to get a right spot.
Yes, but I think he'll land on his feet. I think there's going to be a team out there that looks at this young guy that had that successful career, and really when you look at it deeper, kind of the adversity there in his collegiate career, and take a stab at him.
You remember how often I would talk about that Pittsburgh Steelers scout that just lived in Oxford, lived around the program. Steelers made the right pick in Kenny Pickett. Right. I think it was a tough choice, though.
Yeah.
And they made the right pick. Now, we don't know if he has his foot stepped on if he goes to the Steelers and really has no shot at a rookie year, just none at all. But that scout he was around constantly in the 2021 season, and love Matt. That will help him in NFL circles.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. So I think he'll land on his feet. I think he'll get somewhere where he can, maybe develop under a veteran quarterback and maybe be that answer for somebody in a couple of years. But definitely a big day in the NFL yesterday with all the cuts. That could be a great spot for him. I mean, under Geno for a couple of years, and then kind of take that Drew Lock type of position and kind of learn there. You have a ton of weapons, a ton of young weapons that you're kind of familiar with DK Metcalf and kind of have that Ole Miss connection there. So that could be a really good spot for him. I think that's one to keep an eye on. But let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show. Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
So you've decided to get yourself some culture and go to the Orpheum to see a Broadway show. Well, why stop there? Thanks to a partnership with the Orpheum, 117 Prime, Memphis' premier downtown dining destination, is offering the Orpheum pre-show menu. 3 courses just right before enjoying a Broadway show. Choose from a Caesar salad or French onion soup to start, a 7-ounce flank steak or pan-seared salmon for your entree, and top it off with carrot cake for dessert. If you're an Orpheum Perks member, you can get a special price. All this culture and great food thanks to the Orpheum at 117 Prime.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Hotsy Pressure Washers and Detail Supplies of Memphis takes it all off. They are the #1 cleaning and equipment provider, period. Big or small, Hotsy has the solution. From hot water and cold water pressure washers to industrial soaps and detail supplies, Hotsy has you covered. For our Sports 56 fans, you get 20% off all detail products, so don't miss out on this amazing deal. Call Hotsy today, 901-379-0550, or visit their showroom, conveniently located at Austin P and I-40.
Make this the summer sales event is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Get ready to ride in your new 2023 Dodge Charger SXT. We Gossett $29,990 or $425 a month. Got some hauling to do? We Gossett covered in 2023 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman 4x4, $39,990 or $579 a month. Or how about some employee pricing from Gossett on all Jeep Gladiators? 2023 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4-door 4x4 now just $669 a month. And if we don't have it, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 3500 down, Charger PH 508-657, MSRP 35930, Ram PN 671-333, MSRP 48390, Jeep PL 561602, MSRP 54655. Must finance through Chrysler Capital. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskell. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today is that tonight we will induct, 5 people into the College Basketball Hall of Fame, headlining it. Coach K, after his career with Duke. Also, Johnny Dawkins going to be in there tonight. A couple other of guys at smaller schools, but also Tyler Hansborough from North Carolina will also be inducted. So should be a really good class tonight in Chicago being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Why Mike Krzyzewski now? Does it have to be after you've retired?
Question. Well, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I would have thought he was already in. What I learned, I know who's not catching up to the United States in basketball, and that's Jordan. Michael Jordan could have played for the Jordanian team, and I don't think it would have been any better result for them. Blasted 110-62 in the Philippines. Montenegro up next for the United States in the Philippines, and they're not catching up either. It won't be as bad as Mussolini treated Montenegro, and they know balkanization. They're the original balkanized country.
No, they definitely are. What I could have done without really just all of these cuts from the NFL. I feel like they all came out yesterday, but today's really the first day I've been able to kind of sit and look through them, seeing all of these names. The big one this morning that a lot of people were making fun of was Doug Peterson having to cut his son from the Jaguars.
The son that played in.
That's right. That's right. He was on there. He was with them in preseason, but he did clear waivers, so he'll be on the practice squad for the Jaguars, so that is cool. But, all of these cuts, I think a lot of people make jokes and have fun with it. But at the end of the day, these are guys that have really fought to try to make these rosters. I know I haven't seen the episode last night of Hard Knocks, but I was hearing a lot of people talk about a defensive lineman for the Jets.
55, it might have been a linebacker.
No, I wasn't talking about that. But for the Jets, a guy that was kind of could be on the team, could be not on the team, got an injury in the last preseason game, and they were like, you got to go out. And he's like, I can't. I have to play the rest of this game because I cannot be hurt because I have to make this team. And so for a lot of guys, it's like that. They have to make these teams. And it's just kind of sad to watch these guys get sick.
Down the stretch
it really
of the preseason.
is. It really is. But what
Especially
you're talking about,
special teams.
Oh yeah. But Jay Morgan, what you're talking about with the defensive player for the Giants who pushed Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers goes, "What are you doing? I don't even know who you are." Like what?
And the guy got upset. He goes, "Oh, I don't know who you are." But he's talking to Aaron Rodgers.
Like,
I think he knows who he is. Oh, you don't know who I am? Oh, okay, got you. Yeah.
You know who was watching these cuts closely?
Who's that?
Todd Haley.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Hey, come on down to the USFL. We'll love to have you.
He is. Could have done without this. The Angels have quit, and it was a big mistake not dealing Shohei. They're not winning anything next year with or without him. They had to make deals. They didn't. I think they probably keep him over the winter, and it keeps Mike Trout's career postseason games at 12. No, I'm sorry, at 3 with 12 at bats, 3 games, 12 at bats, 1 home run. Joey Votto knows the feeling. 11 postseason games, 41 at bats, 0 home runs.
Yeah, it's rough. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Dodger Stadium, and the Dodgers hosting the Diamondbacks. Tomorrow night I can beam right over to Utah, to Florida, Utah. Get ready, that's where I'm beaming tomorrow. Dodgers, they're right there again as top 2-3 teams in the sport. And still, with all they have to show for it, that bubble title, 60-game season in 2020, that's their only title since 88. And 88 was the only full season title. When they won it in 81, that was a strike year. They haven't won it full 162 since 1965 when they beat Minnesota.
Wow. Jim Morgan, where are you beaming?
I think I'm going to stick with the wrestling bug, and I'm going to beam to watch AEW Dynamite tonight. They had a big I tell you, I would.
Because you can jump right on the beam, and you're out of there.
I will beam right to the dead center of the ring tonight. I'm really excited for that. And Dustin Starr said earlier today he thinks the AEW is going to announce they're waiting for WWE to come through. They're going to announce they're coming to Memphis next, so that'll be a lot of fun.
And I know
for everybody.
you're excited about that. You would love to see them do that. I'm going to beam to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska tonight.
There's no football tonight.
Nebraska volleyball
What?
playing in the stadium. They are looking to break the most attended women's sporting event that is held for a Champions League soccer match at 91,648
Who are they
tonight.
playing?
Omaha, University of Omaha.
They hate
absolutely. They're expecting over 91,000. Brett, imagine watching a volleyball game in a Big Ten football stadium. It's going to be electric tonight on Big Ten Network if you want to watch. But there are some good baseball games tonight. A lot happened during the day, so a limited slate.
Also tonight, Yankees going for 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Their last 3-game winning streak, July 21, 22, 23.
Yeah, well, that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.